Hey guys! This is part 4 of What If Naruto Can Level Up. Hit like and subscribe if you like this one, and also please check the author in the description. Let's start.
We are pain, that's all. We are God.
Chapter 10 Ah, Rats! All was peaceful in the village hidden in the leaves. The midday sun was shining brightly, and many took this opportunity to enjoy the nice hot weather before winter settled in. To many it was going to be a nice and quiet afternoon, perfect for some R&R. Boom! At least for most, that is. Note to self: never tell Enko I'm gonna slack off, Naruto thought as he hid from his crazed mentor. Oh, Gaki, Puchigaki, a sinister and predatory voice called out for the blonde and his Niken. 2 sets of 4 kunai were held in her hands, glistening in the light of the sun. Why the hell is she doing this? Oh right, she's Enko, Naruto remembered, an exhausted Hadamara by his side. Both knew Enko most likely had an inkling on where they were and was merely playing with them, more like torturing. He dared not voice his thoughts. Oh boys, she called out again, I have a present for you? She cackled and both males felt a shiver go up their spines. Ah, fuck it, I'm bored now. Sanaijishu, hidden shadow snake hands. Lazily, Enko turned towards their location and sent a myriad of snakes of various colors from the sleeves of her trench coat. Knew it! The blonde shouted, and both he and his Niken made a run for it. Dip, dive, dodge was basically their movements as they tried to evade the serpents hot on their tails. Both knew their lives depended on it. Enko's punishment for the game, as she so affectionately called it, was not gonna be pretty according to her. Don't get caught, for the love of Kami don't get caught, the blonde repeated the mantra in his head and spurred on even faster than before. Enko said that because he was used to her old training methods, she was now coming up with new and more challenging ones. The new challenges he could deal with, the increase in punishment should he fail one of them he could do without. The woman was a sadist for punishment, and Naruto knew just how original she could get. Don't get caught. Don't get oof. He found himself falling face first to the ground, courtesy of 4 snakes currently wrapping around his legs and tightening themselves to prevent him from escaping. Oh, fuck me, Naruto cursed and tried to think of a way to get out of this. Don't bother, Gaki, he felt Enko's weight on him. You and your mud aren't going anywhere, she grinned. Hadamari yelped for help, and he wanted to cry. Now for your punishment. Here she pulled out a scroll. Isn't that a mission scroll? He asked, having seen them several times when he was younger. Sharp eye, she nodded. As punishment you're gonna do these 2 missions. I owed someone, so I have to pay for this mission or get someone to complete it for me free of charge. She felt almost embarrassed for having forgotten something like this. Anyway, both of them are contracted by the same people, so you don't have to go too far to accomplish them. What do you mean by that? He immediately regretted asking as she body flickered all 3 of them to the location. A few hours later, there goes our afternoon, and exhausted Naruto groaned at how unfair this was. If he wasn't afraid of the consequences, and Enko, he'd prank her ass so hard she'd be chalking. So much for no training and shit on weekends, he mocked. At first the prospect of doing 2 D-rank missions before becoming a ninja sounded cool, plus the bragging rights. Naruto now understood why Tenten didn't care so much about D-rank, and why he didn't like the feeling he got from it. D-rank missions were nothing more than goddamn glorified chores that civilians and ninja were either too busy or lazy to do themselves. Though the price for them to be done were expensive. Instead of relaxing and taking the afternoon to nap, Enko had left him to tend the house of 2 individuals called Gekko Hate and Yugao Yuzuki. Apparently both had only just bought a house together, roughly a few weeks back, but because of their busy lifestyle they had little time to clean and maintain the place. Both had only recently gotten time off together for the first time in over 3 weeks, and planned to make the most of it. Therefore, as punishment for being caught, though Enko said he and Hadamaru did decent, Naruto was to do the 2 missions they had asked for to be done. In this case, weeding the garden and cutting the grass along with cleaning the gutters. Due to the large size of the property, Naruto assumed they were gonna have kids at some point. Naruto knew that both he and Hadamaru were going to be here for a while. By the time the first hour had gone by and only a third of their work being done, Naruto and Hadamara had no doubt they wouldn't be getting that nap for the next little while. Stupid, motherfucking weeds, Naruto cursed. His hands were caked with mud and dirt as he pulled on the stubborn plant. Naruto had a few plants of his own and knew that pulling weeds from the stem wouldn't do any good because they'd break off and simply grow back later thanks to the surviving roots still firmly in place. Which meant Naruto would have to do some digging to get them out. Arf. Naruto glared at Hadamara, who looked like he was having the time of his life. The ninken's face was dirty and covered in dirt along with his paws. The stripped puppy was pulling up the weeds much faster than he was with his teeth, and digging up the weeds too deep for him to pull up. Either way, it was fun for him, while it sucked for Naruto. Lousy lucky mutt, Naruto envied the Nikken at the moment, though didn't envy himself later when he'd be forced to give Hadamaru a bath. The thought made him groan even more as every time he needed one, Hadamaru was adamant on making his life hell for him by either hiding or running away from him. Tricking him proved useful, but pulling the same trick twice didn't work. He was a Nikken after all and much smarter than the common dog. Not bad, a voice behind him muttered as he surveyed the area. Not bad at all. Looking behind him, Naruto saw a man and a woman. The man, simply put, appeared sickly and had short brown hair, dark-colored eyes and dark markings underneath his eyes. Naruto could tell he was fairly young, probably in his 20s or 30s, but the way he coughed every so often made him wonder if this guy had some sort of sickness. Contrast to him was a healthy and young-looking woman with straight, purple hair reaching down to her waist, warm brown eyes, and a shade of red lipstick. Let me guess, Hate and Yugao? Chances of them being someone else were low. Using an observe on them confirmed it. Status window name, Yuzuki Yugao. Job, ninja level? Neutral, 500/1000. Title? Specialization? HP? CP? STR? Vit? Dex? Int? Wiz? Luck? Dev? Perks? Description? Status window name, Gecko. Hate. Job, ninja level? Reputation level, neutral, 500/1000. Title? Specialization? HP? CP? STR? Vit? Dex? Int? Wiz? Luck? Dev? Perks? Status effects? Description? His use of observe and the results that showed also made it clear that both were strong and most likely either Tokubetsu Jonin or Jonin level individuals. You guessed right, the man coughed. Where's Anko? Naruto shrugged. Your guess is as good as mine. Either way, he was betting she was having a hell of a better time than him. Figures she'd do something like this, Yugao sighed. Leave it to Anko to dump this on an academy student. Technically, he wasn't allowed to do it as he was not officially a ninja, but it wasn't unheard of for academy students to do this sort of thing. Usually it was as a form of punishment. It hardly happened nowadays though, and the fact that no risk was involved with D-rank missions also played a part. The place looks good though, you did a decent job, she smiled at him and Naruto blushed. Yugao was a beautiful woman after all. Hate was a lucky guy, and it made him wonder how someone like him got together with a woman like her. She was way out of his league in Naruto's mind. So how did Anko get an academy student, let alone Konoha's #1 resident prankster of all people, to tidy up our place? She's got blackmail on you? Hate asked him. You can sorta say that. She's my tutor, he answered. Yeah, and I'm a shoo-in as the next Hokage. Hate laughed, but the look Naruto gave him made him pause and baffled him. Really? Anko's tutoring a student? He had heard from Tetsu. The man made and maintained his gear on a regular basis, but thought it to be a joke on the man's part. The idea of Anko doing something such as this was shocking to say the least, considering Anko had gone off several times saying she'd never take on a genin team of her own. She had the right skill set despite her rank, as some Tokubetsu jounin were known to be allowed to take on genin teams, but Anko wasn't interested in teaching, period. I heard about it, but I thought it was just an office rumor. Yugao was speechless. Being one of the few female friends Anko had, Yugao knew the purple and scantily clad woman pretty well. For Anko of all people to take on a student was both mind-blowing and worrying at the same time. She loved her friend, but for most one Anko was enough. Yeah, I get that a lot, It was a common occurrence whenever he said she was teaching him. I don't know whether to be shocked or feel bad for you. Hate wondered if he perhaps should feel both. It's not all bad, it was bad still, but it got results nonetheless. Her methods are insane, and she's batshit crazy at times, and yes, doing this sucks like hell, and she's behind me, isn't she? He noticed their shifting gaze. A couple weeks back he wouldn't have, but Anko had pounded, literally, into his head how to spot things such as this. Oh shit. Oh shit is right. And yes, she is, Anko confirmed, and he gulped in fear. Looks like the master needs to teach the student a little something called manners. Yugao suppressed a snort. Coming from Anko, that was rich considering her uncouth way of life and tell it as it is attitude. The purple-haired Umbu had stopped counting the number of the times Anko did this sort of thing. Come on, Anko, cut the kid some slack. Hate did it more out of sympathy for Naruto. The man knew how much of a sadist Anko was, especially since he fought against her years ago during the Chunin exams. The man still had nightmares at times from that memory. Hey, my student, my rules. Get your own student, she childishly retorted. Your rules suck, Naruto accidentally blurted out, and the couple's eyes damn near popped out of their heads. Why the hell did I say that? Naruto was pretty sure he was going to end up being chopped into itty-bitty pieces for that remark, or worse. With Anko, one never knew what was going to happen. Her eye twitching at the remark, Anko hoisted Naruto up so she looked him dead in the eye. A chill went up both Hate and Naruto's spines as she did, Yugao being used to it from her time spent with the woman. I'm sorry, Naruto squeaked. Not good enough. She emphasized every single word and made him sweat even more. Looking around, spotting Hadamaru hiding in a hole he dug, Anko grinned. So you don't like doing this, huh? Oh no. Oh, Kami, please no. Naruto had a bad feeling about this and knew where it was heading as well. For the next little while, Gaki, you get to do any chores Hate and Yugao-chan ask of you around the house while I'm gone. And seeing as how they are fairly busy doing what they do, you're gonna have your hands full. Knew it, Naruto really felt like punching or striking himself with his staff for mouthing off, mouthing off about Anko while she was nearby at least. Still, it could have been a hell of a lot worse, but it still sucked nonetheless. Anko, that isn't necessary. Yugao was cut off by Hate. That's fine, he said and got a look from Yugao. Send him over tomorrow morning. We'll have things for him to do then. Perfect, glad we could work this out, Anko smiled, put her ward down. Naruto looked ready to cry. My Sunday, as of now, Naruto's weekend wasn't looking too well at the moment. When he finished up, Hate sent Naruto and Hadamaru on their way. Naruto limped as they left, exhausted from everything that happened. Anko having long since left, having only returned to inform Naruto on what she wanted him to do during her absence, her mission having been pushed half a day early. As Naruto and Hadamaru were now out of sight, Yugao rounded on her lover. What are you doing? Yugao asked him. What? We get free labor and it allows us to spend more quality time together, he winked at her. The woman blushed and had to admit that last part actually sounded pretty good really. Besides, word through the grapevine is that the kid's not going to be a dead ringer for dead last anymore. Hate hadn't believed it either like the other rumors, but what just happened now made him think otherwise. Really? Anko's teaching methods are actually getting results? Yugao couldn't wholeheartedly believe it. Teaching wasn't really Anko's forte, evidenced by the number of TNI candidates that switched divisions after her little demonstration. Ibiki was having a hell of a hard time trying to get new recruits and having little success because of the rumors that spread like wildfire. Apparently, he found it shocking too. Actually, this gives me an idea. Sometime later, an exhausted Naruto plopped down on the stool, head lying flat on the counter of Ichiraku Ramen. Training hard, I see. I am, chuckled when Naruto groaned some more. What will you have, Naruto-kun? The usual, please, Naruto spoke. Arf. And something for him, the boy added. You got it, she went on to making his order. So what was it you were doing? She asked him. Anko tricked me into doing a D-rank mission, he said, and I got to do some more tomorrow. D-ranks? You're not a genin yet, booty. Guess you doing chores. Old civilians or lazy ninja commission for newly graduates is okay. I am shrugged. You knew? He was surprised. How? I spent a year at the Ninja Academy when I was younger. I wanted to get ahead, so I learned a few of the more required textbooks. In the end, it wasn't for me though, so I went to a civilian school instead, then a cooking school, and graduated, she informed with a shrug as she moved on to prepare the next step for the dish. Could have told me what D-ranks were about, he grumbled, followed by his stomach. Hungry, huh? The boy's stomach growled again. I knew that ninja had a high metabolism, so it wasn't uncommon for them to eat more than 4 meals a day with the amount of calories and fat they burned. Starving, he answered, his response jogging something in his mind. Hey, Nichan, you got any more books on cooking? I'm almost done with the one you gave me. Really? The young brunette was quite surprised by this. I think so. I'll have to check in the back when I get the chance. The evening rush hour is about to start soon and I need to prepare. Dad's gone to do something, so I'm on my own for the next little while. Quest alert! Mastering cooking for dummies. Main quest. Master the skill basic cooking skill. Main quest completion. Plus 150 REP with IM and Tucci. Plus 250 XP. Unlock intermediate cooking skill. Accept? Yes/no, Naruto sighed as a quest popped up and accepted. It wasn't that he didn't care, but the young blonde was too tired to be really enthusiastic about it at the moment. Oh well. At least it brings this skill to the next level. Thanks, Nichan, Naruto said. No problem, she called back. We have little use for those books anyways. Dad mostly keeps them for nostalgia and makes copies of them every few years or so. Why? Dad used to be a cooking nin, I told him, much to his shock. Old man Tucci used to be a ninja? It would explain why he couldn't see his stats. Yeah, a pretty good one too, or so he says. Proceeded with the next step. Dad was a Tokubetsu jonin and a master chef by the time he reached his early 20s. He often said his cooking could revitalize a ninja in a matter of minutes. Something his teacher passed on to him before she left for Hai no Kuni's capital. Some plump Akimichi woman, if I recall, was all she could remember. Really? Why is he not a ninja anymore? He winced as stopped cooking and guessed it was bad. Sorry, Naruto, but that's for Dad to talk about. She knew he was merely curious, and didn't mean any harm by asking, but it wasn't for her to tell. Sorry, Nichan, Naruto was mentally kicking himself. Most likely it had to do with the permanent crippling injury status effect. Your luck has held out, and your reputation with holds strong. It's no problem, she waved it off. Order up. Then placed a large bowl of miso pork ramen in front of him, and some grilled meat for Hadamaru. Enjoy. Saying a quick prayer, Naruto split his chopsticks down the middle and both he and Hadamaru ate their meals peacefully. With Anko, dango and sweet bean soup, perfect combination, Anko purred as she noshed on her meal. A series of miniature skewers forming the Konoha symbol on the wall to her left. You keep eating those in excise amounts, and you're gonna lose that figure of yours, Anko, Yugao spoke as she and Hate sat down beside her. Yeah, like that will ever happen. Anko seriously doubted she'd lose her perfect figure. What do you two lovebirds want? Actually, this is Hate's doing, Yugao informed her fellow purple-haired kunoichi. Really? Mr. Ballerina here? Yugu chuckled lightly. You're never going to stop calling me that, are you? Hate deadpanned. Hey, you were the one dancing in the forest, Anko smirked. I wasn't dancing, I was. Forget it. The man wasn't about to get drawn into this argument again. The incident had been him practicing his swordsmanship, and the particular techniques he was honing had made it look like he was doing a series of feminine dance moves. Anko, be nice, Yugao told her friend. The woman knew it was merely Anko being herself, and she and Hate were good friends despite always teasing him like this. You're no fun, she huffed, so what's up? Knowing she was now taking this seriously, Hate began. To start, I want to know if the rumors regarding Naruto are true. Which ones? There were several rumors revolving around Naruto, so knowing which one he was referring to was sort of difficult to ascertain. Him no longer being a shoe-in for dead last and him having an affinity for fire and wind, he elaborated. Cocking an eyebrow at why he was asking this, it took the woman a few seconds before she realized where this was going. Yugao too was an intelligent woman, having joined Numbu when she was just child, and easily put 2 and 2 together. You're thinking of teaching the Gaki some kenjutsu, aren't you? It wasn't uncommon to see futon and katan techniques being used alongside kenjutsu. Futon could be used to increase the cutting power of swords and create vacuum blades, while katan made the blade hot enough to cut through thick armor like warm butter and set things alight from the intense heat. Hate nodded. The man was one of the very few practitioners of the Konoha-ryu Kenjutsu, Konoha-style sword techniques. The style and school originating from the Senju clan and founded by Senju Tobirama, a master kenjutsu user and one of the few Konoha ever had in history. The Konoha-ryu Kenjutsu fighting style revolved around incredible speed, unexpected feints, and pinpoint precision. All of which were a part of Senju Tobirama's fighting style. The fact the man was known as the fastest individual of his time made it a deadly fighting style. Mixed with Hayate's own flair and prodigious skills in kenjutsu, the style had even more techniques added to it. Hayate had been looking to pass down the art to someone who could use it to its fullest. It was easier said given the requirements needed to use some of the techniques, and most would-be ninja and Konoha weren't disciplined enough or preferred using and learning ninjutsu than learn the art of the sword. The amount of Konoha-ryu Kenjutsu practitioners in the village are few in number, Anko, Hayate muttered, and that number gets smaller and smaller as the years go by. Once a ninja was promoted to Chunin or Umbu, they were required to learn the basics and be proficient at it at an acceptable level, but no more than that. Yugao understood why he was so passionate about the matter. The woman herself was a practitioner, but she and others had to learn from Hayate instead from another Umbu superior. It was one of the reasons why they fell in love with one another. Their love of kenjutsu and the amount of time they spent together. Both were prodigies in kenjutsu, and while Hayate being the better of the two in terms of skill, Yugao was ultimately the stronger of the two, a fact that Hayate wasn't ashamed to freely admit it. I know, Koi, I know, the small amount of practitioners was a combination of some dying, either of old age or in the field, or having no student or any interested in learning the art. You know nothing is set in stone, right? I can ask him, but ultimately it's up to the gaki, Anko told him. He's gotten better, but what makes you think he has the discipline to learn kenjutsu? It ain't for everyone, you know. I know. But for some reason I have a feeling about this kid. He survived training from Anko Mitarashi herself. The queen sadist of Konoha's torture and interrogation division. Yugao chuckled at that, and Anko puffed her chest out with pride. The sadistic woman had taken a liking to that particular title, even saying they should bow in her presence, as a joke sometimes. If he can handle that, then maybe he has what it takes to learn this kenjutsu and make it great again. It was gamble. There was a chance it wouldn't work or Naruto not be interested, but at this point he was willing to risk it. If Konoha Academy students saw the dead last use the Konoha-ryu Kenjutsu to great effect, and how strong he was, it would drive many to start learning it themselves. It wasn't perfect, and he knew some wouldn't go far in it, but it was a step in getting a once-renowned art back in the spotlight. Yugao merely sighed. She knew that once Hayate got like this, he was determined to see it through. Besides, if that kid gets better at it, he can teach other generations too. There was a hint of remorse in his voice as he said this, and Anko winced as she knew what he was talking about. When Hayate and Yugao first became a couple, and as the years passed by, the prospect of having children had often made its way into the conversation. Anko herself hadn't cared for the whole becoming a mother lifestyle like some of her female friends, but respected their decision nonetheless. During the era of warring states, shinobi often married in secret with few knowing, and had children at a young age. A practice that was still used to this day because their hazardous lifestyle often led to a reduced lifespan. It was much higher than what it used to be in the era of warring states, but still fairly low. It was only until recently that both discovered having a child would be difficult for both of them. Both were fairly young, still in their early 20s, but both suffered from medical conditions. Yugao had a condition that while carrying a child would not be a problem, getting pregnant due to not being very fertile was. She was still capable of becoming a mother, but the chances were low compared to most women. In Hayate's case it was similar. His chronic cough and somewhat sickly appearance compared to when he was younger were the result of a poisonous gas, one that Anko had found impressive, during an ambush some years back. Of the ninja that went on that mission, Hayate was one of the lucky few that managed to live to tell the tale. Being one of Konoha's best toxicologists, Anko and other medics managed to make an antidote in case it was ever used again, and those that managed to escape recovered. Unlike the others who made full recoveries, Hate unfortunately had been left with some ill side effects that were beyond the medic's or Anko's ability to remedy. Though lucky to be alive, the man was left with a chronic cough from a damaged lung. Thankfully, he had no fear of it turning malignant, and it was doable to live with, the man having developed a way to stop the coughing when he needed to. It was minor, really. The other effects hadn't been discovered until later. One being the poison greatly reduced his stamina, muscle strength, and speed to the point he needed to compensate by augmenting them with chakra, whereas before it was pure muscle work. It also impaired his ability to properly develop muscles and increase his chakra reserves. And lastly, it had greatly reduced the virility of his sperm. All in all, and while Hate and Yugao hadn't lost hope, the chances of either of them conceiving a child with one another in the future was very low. The doctor stating that the chances of them getting pregnant being less than 19%. With medication and procedures the chances were higher but still below 40%. Hate had no intention of seeing another woman. Yugao was the only one for him, and the fact that he may not have children to pass on his art made him feel empty. There was no doubt in his mind that both he and Yugao had every intention of teaching their children kenjutsu. But at the moment it wasn't happening anytime soon. At least with this kid I can potentially pass it on, maybe even have him teach my kids when I end up having some. While he could live to a ripe old age, few ninja managed to live past their 40s, and Hate was more or less plateauing at the moment in terms of strength. At least with Naruto and Yugao he'd have two who could teach his children should he pass on. I'll talk to him and see if he's interested. You know, there's the chance of him not wanting to learn kenjutsu, Hate, Anko informed him once again, and the man chuckled. It was a possibility, but a low one. I know, but you and I both know how that kid goes on about wanting to be Hokage and becoming an awesome ninja. If I offered to teach him kenjutsu, I doubt he'd hesitate to learn. The woman had to concede with that point. It was common knowledge around the village how adamant Naruto was about being Hokage. Plus it also gets Yugao and I free labor to take care of the house, he smirked, and Anko laughed. At times she often forgot how cunning Hate could be. All right, I'll talk it over with him tomorrow morning before I leave for my mission. Just don't get your hopes up in case the Gaki doesn't want to learn, she informed him. That's fine. Hate would be disappointed if it was the case but could live with it. Now all they needed to do was see if Naruto would agree and plan accordingly. A few hours later, Naruto yawned as he woke up from his nap. Time, he called out and saw that it was nearing 8 p.m. Still got time, he said as he gazed outside, starting to get dark. He wasn't surprised as it neared winter. While Konoha still had a fair amount of light, even at 7 at night it started to dim when it reached 8 o'clock during this time of year. A fair amount of activity still occurred around this time in the streets, but not as much. Looking at his CP and HP, Naruto was pleased with what he saw. Napping, unlike a full night of sleep, only recovered 50% of his CP and HP, the same thing happening with his fatigue level. Luckily Naruto hadn't used up all his CP and his HP hadn't gone down too low when he fought in the zombie dungeon. As such, both of them were now fully restored. You ready to hit one last dungeon, Hado? He asked the Niken. Only for the tired Ninka to bark lowly, yawn, and go back to sleep. Lazy mutt, though Naruto guessed the dog had enough for one day. Chasing after him, when he needed to give Hato a bath, had only made them both tired, and the bath had sapped Hatomaru of his energy. Guess you can stick this one out. Naruto got out of bed and proceeded to gear up before heading out. Making his way towards the training field, Naruto was left confused upon seeing something different about the text box. Nighttime dungeon effect dungeons can be entered during both cycles of the day. However, during the night the enemies encountered are greater in number, and stronger than their daytime counterparts, being 2 to 3 levels higher than normal. A bonus to this, however, is that the monsters encountered also give better EXP and loot than they would usually give. Just like Dragon Warrior, Naruto recalled how either stronger or certain types of monsters only came out at night in the game, usually in greater numbers too. Anko had told that the idea was based off of real life, as some of the deadlier creatures slept during the day and came out at night. Though seeing as he was at level 9, nearing 10, and the dungeon requirements for the next level were 6 to 7, it wasn't that big of an imposition. I wonder though, Naruto decided to try something to prove a hunch. Yep, thought so. Requirements for Area 3 dungeon not met. Level requirements have been met, but Area 2 dungeon must be conquered before you can proceed to the next dungeon. Naruto wasn't surprised by this turn of events. Most games required you to complete certain tasks on a previous floor or dungeon before you could proceed to the next one. Well, it was worth a shot. Training Area 2, enter. Like before with the first training area dungeon he entered, Naruto found himself enveloped in a flash of bright light. When it faded away, Naruto was left momentarily stunned upon finding where he was. I'm underground? It made sense really when he recalled the black tunnel from the boar dungeon. At least there's light down here. Naruto noted the bright green glowing moss that provided him with a good amount of illumination. Feeling a change of pace, Naruto switched out his staff and took out Shikizuje in its place. The boy had only used the weapon a few times during his spars with Anko, so now was as good a time as any to see how well it did against the dungeon monster. As he walked down the tunnel, Naruto's detection skill kicked in, and he got into a defensive stance. The boy had sensed two enemies coming his way, and from the sound of it they were coming in quick. While they were too far out at the moment, Naruto could see their forms and knew they were small compared to the other enemies he faced. As the sound got louder and the enemy neared, Naruto finally got a better look at what he was about to face. Rats? Common rat, level 7 HP, 300 CP, 75 STR, 15 VIT, 12 DX, 68 INT, 3 WIS, 30 LUK, 30 defense, 0 perks, nimble, plus 30% increase to movement speed in and out of combat, plus 30% increase to evasion, plus 10% increase to critical hits, keen senses, plus 50% effectiveness to detection skill, ignores henge skill. Very sensitive to powerful and pungent odors, disease-ridden. 25% damage increase to biting and claw techniques. 25% chance of causing disease, status effective. Bitten description. Rats are often seen as pests by many, these rats more so because of their larger size and greater number. Past attempts at eradicating them to contain these plague and disease-ridden pests have all met with failure due to their astonishing and frightening ability to adapt and reproduce. Their sense of smell allows them to find food even deep underground and the ability to detect invaders who come too close to their nest. Though weak and small individually, they make up for it in large numbers, and they are very quick and difficult to deal with, especially when they run for reinforcements. EXP earned 65 drops. Great, Naruto muttered. The little vermin weren't going to pose much of threat in terms of power, but speed-wise and in large numbers instead. Naruto was quick, but with their higher DX, even with the plus 5 DX boost from his dagger, and their nimble perk, they were quicker than him. They were also the same size as Hadamaru, which made the task of trying to hit them even more difficult compared to the boars. But damn if I don't like a challenge, he grinned and allowed the two rats to get in closer. When they were close enough, Naruto used Rapusho towards them. With the technique as it was now, it not only gave a good boost in attack power, but the chances of knocking enemies over were much higher too. Pouncing on the closest downed rat, Naruto stabbed Shikizuje at it, only for the small rodent to evade it at the last second. Naruto was barely left with enough time to raise his arm and slashed at the creature when it jumped at him. Once it was down once more, Naruto's second attempt at stabbing the evasive creature proved successful and continued to do so until it died. Once he was done, Naruto whirled around at the other rat and saw the creature disappear into the dark tunnel ahead of him. Damn, Naruto cursed. If what the description said was right, the little bastard was most likely going for reinforcements. Chasing after him was a dumb move, because not only would he be unable to catch up with it, he also had no intention of getting ambushed. The tunnels were illuminated, but if they were anything like the video games he played, then he didn't doubt there'd be darker areas with holes and crevices for them to suddenly pop out of. Sighing, Naruto picked up the loot from the dead rat, which consisted of diseased rat teeth and diseased rat nails, both of which according to their description could be used in making low-tier poisons. The revelation made him wonder if the zombie ribs he had could be used for the same purpose. At least I didn't get any rat meat, he shuddered. Naruto wasn't down with getting meat from a supposed diseased creature with the purpose of it being eaten, even if the description said otherwise. As he prepared to head out, Naruto's detection skill kicked in once again. 7 coming this time, he sensed and decided to try a different strategy. Once the rats got closer, Naruto assaulted the closest ones with 2 kunai. One of them got cut, and the other missed home. It didn't matter to the blonde, however, as the boy merely held up a hand sign and watched the 2 exploding tags attached to said kunai explode and send the rats flying. This left them all wide open for a counterattack, and Naruto finished them all off with relative ease with a few placed stabs and slashes to the head. Much like many other creatures in video games, the head was a weak point, and striking there resulted in critical hits and additional damage. Picking up his loot that consisted of 4 diseased rat teeth and 5 diseased rat nails, Naruto dusted himself off and headed out into the tunnels. Meanwhile, in Naruto's apartment, some time later, as Hadamara slept peacefully in his bed, having peed on the footrest a few weeks back and in his mind claiming it as his, the young pup's ears and legs twitched every so often. The Niken was having a dream of chasing down dangerous wildlife and showing them who was boss. So focused and tired was he that the Niken didn't sense the intruder outside the door. Slowly and silently, the door handle to the apartment turned and the door soon opened. A figure covered by the darkness of the apartment stealthily walked into Naruto's home. "Place needs some cleaning up," the intruder muttered lowly. The academy student's apartment was of decent size but still left much to be desired. There was dust and stains in a few places, but the amount of dishes and the heavy smell of ramen was as bit much. Making their way towards the boy's room, the intruder opened the door slowly once more and spotted the sleeping form of Hadamaro. But no Naruto in sight. "Damn it, he's not here," the intruder cursed at their luck. "No matter, the mutt will do just fine. Good thing I know how to mask my scent." The person smirked devilishly as they grabbed a hold of Hadamaro and quickly injected him with a needle before the Niken went limp and stopped moving. Time for a little payback. Phase 1 was complete. Now on to Phase 2. With Naruto, as close to an hour passed away, and as he fought more and more rats that came his way, Naruto found himself bored. The young boy had already managed to kill 20-some common rats, 11 black rats, and 5 giant rats. The latter 2 were tougher but not by much. The giant rats, as the name said, were twice the size of black rats, which themselves were the size of wild boars. Truthfully, at first it was a bit of a letdown really. He had expected something more, even with the nighttime dungeon effect. Though guessed that because of his higher level, and because it was a low-level dungeon, and better skills said it was bound to occur. The boy had hoped it wasn't to be so soon though. That all changed when Naruto had gotten himself ambushed when he entered a large cavern a few minutes ago, and rats began to fall on top of him. The rats had gotten in a few good hits and given him the disease status effect as a result. As a result, the boy's movement and techniques weren't as effective. Use of his remaining exploding tags was a no-go as the cavern was much too wide and offered the rats ample time and room to evade the explosion they'd cause. Ryokuboku, Power Strike! Naruto slashed the head off a black rat and watched as it vanished into a series of particles. Ki was the chattering that came from the other rats. Where there was once 11 rats in total was now only 3. One of them, a giant rat, felt provoked and rushed at him. Katon, Hidama no Jutsu, Fire Release, Fireball Technique. 4 fireballs came into existence and lit up the cave even more in an orange hue as they sailed at the large creature. Quickly following up with a Repusho to enhance them, the giant rodent only managed to evade 2 of the fireballs and was set alight by the harmful flames. Closing in, Naruto performed a series of quick stabs and slashes before he maneuvered behind the large beast. Kentatsu, Backstab. Stabbing deeply into the creature's back, Naruto was happy to see it dissipate into nothingness. The blonde didn't bother to look for the other 2 remaining rats, his detection skill informing him they had both fled the scene. So much for being bored, Naruto laughed, and he was honestly happy that he was finally getting a challenge. While he was happy to have leveled up a while back, it still didn't change the fact that it had gotten too easy. While Naruto didn't care all that much for difficulty levels during games, he wasn't the type to place the setting on easy mode. It wasn't that fun or challenging in his personal opinion. Status Effect. Status Effect: Malnourished, Hampered Physical Growth Rate, minus 25% to VID, DX, and STR stat base, plus 20% vulnerability to poisons diseased, minus 25% to all stats, minus 25% effectiveness from healing techniques and items. 1 minute remaining, and not too bad. Technically speaking, it sucked as it greatly brought down his stats, but at the same time it was only temporary and had offered a better challenge. As he collected all the dropped loot, Naruto noticed that the cave was starting to get brighter. Daylight? He immediately threw that thought away. He had only been here for an hour, not an entire day, and he was underground. A fire then? Was someone else in here? Ki. Definitely not a person, he noted while the loud screech echoed in the cavern and Naruto saw the form of a large, and mysteriously, flame-covered rat. The hell? This was a first if he ever saw one. The boy guessed this was the dungeon boss, and used observe on the flame-covered creature. Hinazumi, Fire Rat, Queso LV10, Rare Spawn, HP, 1150 CP, 400 STR, 45 VIT, 40 DX, 90 INT, 16 WIS, 30 LUK, 30 Defense, 50 Perks, Flamefur, Immunity and absorbs fire-based attacks, plus 25% resistance towards wind-based attacks, plus 30% of burning if touched, plus 30% physical damage increase, plus 50% increase to fire-based attacks. Fire-based abilities are negated if fur becomes wet and nimble, plus 50% movement speed in and out of combat, plus 50% evasion, plus 25% increase to critical hit keen senses, plus 100% effectiveness to detection skill, ignores henge skill, very sensitive to powerful and pungent odors disease-ridden, 50% damage increase to biting and claw techniques, 50% chance of causing disease status effective bitten description, one of the few legendary fire rats of mythology that still remain. Though small compared to other rare spawn and bosses, this large rat is very quick, and its fire-coated skin makes it a formidable opponent. However, unlike its ancestors of old that once had a decent relationship with humans, this flame-covered creature has cast aside the old ways. Now it cares only for its well-being, even if it means running away from a battle and leaving its companions to their demise. EXP earned 825 drops. Rare spawns are unique one-of-a-kind enemies that are difficult to locate as they appear at random in any part of a dungeon they reside in. They are similar to bosses as they are tougher than normal enemies, as not only do they give a great amount of EXP but sometimes drop rare loot that you can't find anywhere else. Such loot include unique weapons, armor, items, even quest starting ones. Note: only a few dungeons have rare spawns. Unlike bosses and regular enemies that respawn after a certain amount of time, or re-entering an area or dungeon, rare spawns do not. The time limit for respawning varies. For some it takes days because of the rewards they give. Even then, a rare spawn will not appear at the same location or drop the same loot consecutively. As Naruto read the description, the boy was conflicted. On one hand, the creature was going to give him a good amount of EXP and a rare drop, but on the other hand, the stats and perks it had was not going to make this fight easy. Naruto wouldn't be able to use any of his elemental ninjutsu, as fire would only be absorbed and futon damage was now cut down by 25% in effectiveness. This meant this was mostly going to be a physical fight. His musing was cut short, unfortunately, and the boy was forced to dodge when the rat charged at him with blazing speed, a trail of flames following behind it as it rushed by. Great, Naruto muttered and switched from his dagger to his staff. He was confident, but Naruto knew he was going to need to keep his distance against this thing. His dagger was the better weapon, but his staff allowed some distance. Naruto had no intention in getting scorched by this creature. Ninpo, Gariki, ninja art, hard strength. A surge of power flowed through him as he used the technique. As the rat charged at him once more, when it got close enough, Naruto struck at the ground where it was going to be. Though he missed when it dodged, the blonde saw a decent-sized spiderweb crack forming on the ground. Damn! Naruto was surprised at his newfound strength, but that surprise soon turned into a grin as he eyed the rat. Though he was slower, his ninjutsu practically useless, and he was alone, Naruto knew this was going to be an interesting fight to say the least. Kiki, Queso squeaked at him and the flames on its fur grew larger, brighter, and from the change in temperature he felt hotter too. Bring it, you garbage-eating piece of shit, Naruto taunted the creature. Naruto didn't know if it could understand him, but the fire rat charged at him even faster than before and the boy was forced to block its attack. Ow, He grunted as the hot flames licked at him and forced Naruto to retreat, but the rat didn't let up and followed him and continued its assault. Damn it! He grunted once more. The damage wasn't high, but it didn't take a genius to figure out that if it continued like this, the damage would start to stack up. They continued this dance for a couple of minutes, to which Naruto had managed to dodge and evade it better this time. Once more the rat rushed at him, but Naruto was better prepared now and struck when it pounced. The rat gave a loud squeak and was sent flying, a very good chunk of its HP being taken in the process. But the creature managed to right itself as it landed and put some distance between itself and Naruto when he tried to land another blow. Damn, he's quick, Naruto scowled at the rare spawn. The strike had taken a little over 100 of its HP, but it was a lucky blow. Naruto wished he had used Saijiki, crushing strike, instead, as it would have potentially rendered it immobile and at his mercy. As it was, Naruto and the rat merely looked at one another, either attacked. While the rat had the advantage in speed and its unique defense, Naruto had the upper hand in strength and cunning. Quickly glancing around the cavern, Naruto kept his guard up but slowly moved and never took his eyes off of the rat. Going back to the tunnel that he came from, Naruto took out a set of kunai with exploding tags attached at the end and proceeded to throw them behind him. The boy then put some distance between him and the tunnel he laced with explosives and subsequently blew it up when he stood in front of the only other tunnel out of the cave. Now the only way out for you is through me. If it was anything like its weaker companions, he knew it would potentially flee if given the chance. Naruto wasn't about to lose sight of his first rare spawn enemy. That'd be embarrassing, he muttered. Kiki! The fire rat chattered at him and Naruto took this chance to bolt inside the tunnel. Though confused by the act, Keiso following after him. A decision the rat would soon regret. Futon, Repusho no Jutsu, Wind Release, Violent Gale Palm Technique. Ki. Though the attack didn't really harm it, the force from the technique combined with how narrow the tunnel was made it so the gall force was centered all on the rat the moment it entered the tunnel. You're mine, bitch! Naruto took off like a shot at the temporarily dazed creature and struck it with Saijiki. Not wasting any time, Naruto proceeded to rain as many power strikes on the rat as he could before it was surrounded by a large and powerful blaze. Damn it, Naruto cursed. A few more blows and the rat would have been dead. He had little time to think, however, as he felt the rat charge at him and the boy hardly had time to dodge this time. It was now much quicker and stronger. For the next few minutes the rat would charge in and attempt to strike him, and Naruto only just barely managed to keep up, block, or evade it. When it rushed in once again, Naruto stuck out his staff and caused Keiso to trip over the weapon, the creature squeaking as it went skidding. Naruto took this opportunity to end this fight, but the rat recovered too quickly and the boy felt its head ram into his gut. His shirt now ablaze, Naruto was sent him tumbling to the ground instead of finishing off the rare spawn. It didn't end there though, as the rat jumped on him and attempted to bite his face. Naruto managed to stop it from doing so by horizontally sticking his staff in its mouth and held it at bay. With his greater strength, the rat's attempts at biting him were proving fruitless. It only worked momentarily. Keiso was smart and quickly changed tactics and began to rake at him with its flame-covered and disease-ridden claws. Grr, Naruto grunted as he felt the pain inflicted on him by the appendages. Naruto already felt weaker and knew he was affected by the disease status effect. His strength was still high, but Naruto knew that each rake of its claws only took more and more of his HP. Tucking in his legs, Naruto thrust outwards and double-kicked the rodent in the stomach with all his strength. Combined with his ninpo, Gariki, it took not only a great deal of health but sent it tumbling away, but it managed to right itself pretty quickly. Getting up as fast he could, Naruto tried to put out the flames from his armor but cursed even more when he saw Keiso retreat towards the tunnels. The gamer wasn't going to let the rare spawn get away that easily and set off after the fire rat. When the retreating creature was just about to enter the tunnels, Naruto quickly formed a hand sign and saw the rat's only means of escape blow up. Boom! The suddenness of the explosion almost knocked him off balance and rocked the cavern. The boy could only watch as the tunnel entrance collapsed and filled with rocks. Damn it, Naruto cursed as his vision was momentarily clouded by dust and flying rocks. When the dust cloud cleared, Naruto breathed a sigh of relief when saw loot outside the tunnel entrance. The evasive rat hadn't escaped in time. Queso the fire rat was dead. Dumb rat, Naruto smirked. The boy had learned from the zombie dungeon and knew that there was a chance of the rat trying to make a break for it if it got the chance. Naruto was just glad he managed to place his remaining exploding tags he had near the tunnel entrance before he used Rapusho seconds later. Now, let's see what we got here, he smirked. The first item was a scroll, much like with the zombie and the boar. The boy didn't bother wondering why it had it, and just rolled with it. Shunshin no Jutsu, Body Flicker Technique, D rank. LV, 1 next LV, 0/75. CP usage varies on distance, time, and actions used. A technique that allows a ninja to move short to long distances at incredible speeds, though more commonly used for short distances. This is accomplished by using chakra to temporarily vitalize every single part of the body and move at extreme speed, though can still be intercepted by those with greater speed, visual perception, and reflexes. While a D-rank technique, it is difficult to master and use and requires a great amount of chakra control to properly utilize the technique without risks of injury. Asterisk increases evasion by 30% when activated. Asterisk increases speed by 30% when activated. Asterisk capable of becoming undetectable by others within 10 levels for certain amount of time. Requirements needed to learn. Asterisk must have mastered the Kawarimi. Asterisk must have mastered water surface walking practice. Asterisk WIS level must be 60 or above to learn well. This fucking blows. It was an awesome technique to learn, but at the moment it was going to take a while before Naruto could even learn it. Sighing, he put it away in his inventory box. This next one better be good. Naruto wasn't disappointed. Hinazumi no Kogaido, Crimson Cloak of the Fire Rat, Epic Quality. Back armor durability, 70/70 defense, 25 bonus stats. Asterisk negates fire-based techniques. Asterisk 25% effectiveness and increased power towards fire-based techniques. Asterisk absorbs 25% of chakra from fire techniques. Asterisk if struck by water, its abilities are temporarily negated. Description: an extremely rare and ancient object made from the hide of a legendary fire rat well over 1,000 years ago. Few of these cloaks were ever made, and all of them were thought to be lost or destroyed. The hide from the fire rat is composed of naturally occurring chakra-absorbing fibers, allowing the cloak to both negate fire and absorb it, but has a terrible reaction towards water. Despite its ability to negate flames, the protection is only offered if the body part is protected by the cloak. Unlike most cloaks, the material used in making this is not only very durable, but extremely light. Hot damn! Naruto cheered at the find. In your face, team. I got an awesome fire-based tool and you don't. It was practically Christmas for the boy, and Naruto couldn't be any happier. Totally makes up for the ball buster technique. He grinned and decided to put it on. Not bad. The hood that came with it was a nice touch too, and he had to admit that deep crimson was a very good color on him. Even if it did sort of clash with his current attire's colors. Note to self: future armor must not clash with cloak's color, Naruto wisely decided. Either way, the cloak would still offer him better defense. Picking up the last loot, Naruto, though disappointed it wasn't something extraordinary, was happy to have found 4,000 ryo nonetheless. Just more funds towards his future house. Sometime later, Naruto shook his head as he came out of the dungeon. Though he'd have loved to go to the next one, his HP and CP were now at the halfway point because of the boss battle. Taking in the fact that the next dungeon's enemies and boss were going to be much tougher. Despite the fact he had items that could recover his HP, his CP was a different story. The boy had found it ironic, really. After he cleared the rubble from the tunnel, he collapsed on Queso. Said tunnel had taken him directly to the rat's nest and the boss battle. King of the rats, my ass, Naruto scoffed. The boss fight wasn't tough, more annoying than anything. The Rat King was a bit taller than himself, and had scabby and boil-ridden black fur with bone-like protrusions coming out of it at odd places. The boss wasn't as fast compared to Queso, fast still, but nothing he couldn't handle. Essentially, the fight revolved around him mostly fighting the boss minions, as he would get in a few blows and then make a run for it. It would have been fine had it not been for the boss's ability to debuff him with both the disease and poison status effects. the latter one taking 24 HP every 3 seconds for 30 seconds, which added up after a while. In the end, though, Naruto had decided he had enough. After dealing with the Rat King's minions, he had used his detection skill to find out which tunnel he was coming out of. The boss of the rats and his new minions had little time to react when Naruto bellowed a Katan, Rasen Hon no Jutsu, fire release, spiraling phoenix flame technique. The technique resulted in the tunnels lighting up and spew forth red-hot flames. Though it had taken a bit out of him as the technique was still difficult to use, Naruto was just happy the damn rat was dead. The Rat King wasn't tough compared to Keiso, but he was annoying as hell with his hit-and-run tactics. So that's what it feels like, he realized at the time. Sadly, unlike Anabuta, Naruto wasn't greeted with the sight of a treasure chest key or weapon, much to his disappointment. Instead, he was given a scroll for a poison-based technique called Ninpo, Dakaso, Ninja Art, Toxic Luster Claw. An awesome C-rank technique that converted one's chakra into poisonous and corrosive chemicals and made the nails on their hands more claw-like. Unfortunately, he was unable to learn it as he needed to know basic medical ninjutsu, basic toxicology, and didn't have a high enough WIS level. So all he got in the end from the boss were 2 vials of low-grade corrosive poison, a recipe for making said poison, and a large diseased rat teeth. The boy wasn't pleased with the rewards of this level and didn't have any intention of returning unless it was to potentially get another crimson cloak of the fire rat to sell. Naruto had no doubt it would sell for a ton of money, assuming he could find Keiso again, of course, and he dropped it once more. Lousy dungeon, Naruto muttered. The only saving grace was getting the cloak, which he put away for the time being and made his way back home. Though he wasn't tired, he still had stuff to do tomorrow. Thanks a lot, Anko, he grumbled, and he wanted to get enough sleep. Hopefully he could go back into the zombie dungeon before the week started. The boy had no doubt that his weekdays were going to leave him too occupied to go into the dungeons. Especially since Anko had given him stuff he needed to do, on top of the training she was having him doing. Sigh, that damn woman's a slave driver. Naruto decided not to vocalize his thoughts on the off chance Anko was nearby. The boy was going to have to up his detection skill and learn other variations to prevent being sneaked up on. As he arrived at his apartment complex, Naruto stopped as he saw a light in his room. The boy tensed, for he knew he had not turned on any light when he left. Someone was breaking into his apartment, and dread fell over him as he realized something else. Hato. Status window name, Uzumaki Naruto. Job, the gamer level, 10 next level, 4239/7600. Title, Academy Student Specialization, not applicable. HP, 2150 CP, 3350 STR, 40.5 VIT, 55 DX, 62, plus 5, equals 67 INT, 101 WIS, 38.5 LEK, Def 55 perks. Additional plus 3 VIT and plus 5 INT per LV, plus 75 CP per LV, plus 25% additional EXP towards power type fighting style, minus 25% EXP towards chakra control, 40% EXP towards reputation gain. Additional plus 3 VIT and plus 5 INT per LV, plus 50 HP per LV, plus 25% additional EXP towards Fuinjutsu, minus 15% EXP towards chakra control Prank King, minus 10% EXP towards reputation gain, plus 15% EXP towards strategy and tactics, plus 15% towards stealth. Additional plus 3 DX per LV Apprentice Zombie Slayer, 40% increase attack and defense against undead. Plus 10 stats when facing undead, plus 15% additional drops and EXP from undead status effects, malnourished, hampered physical growth rate, minus 25% to VID, DX, and STR stat base, plus 20% vulnerability to poisons. Description: Uzumaki Naruto's background is shrouded in mystery. Currently an academy student with inspirations to become Hokage, Naruto has a long and difficult journey ahead of him before he can attain his dream. At the moment, Naruto is considered by many as a shoe-in for the title of Dead Last. Money, 108,640 Rio, $10,864. Stats, 7 Omake. Told ya! Dango and sweet bean soup, perfect combination, Anko purred as she noshed on her meal. A series of miniature skewers forming the Konoha symbol on the wall to her left. You keep eating those in excise amounts, and you're gonna lose that figure of yours, Anko, Yugao spoke as she and Hate sat down beside her. Yeah, like that will ever happen, Anko seriously doubted she'd lose her perfect figure. Years later, Yugao wiped the sweat from her head. That's enough for today. The 30-odd-year-old woman had done enough training for one day. Having been promoted to Umbu commander after the previous one retired some years ago left the woman with little time to practice her kenjutsu like this. Oh, she was still one of the top 10 best kenjutsu practitioners in Konoha, but with her busy schedule she knew she could no longer make her such a claim if she didn't practice every now and then. Making her way back her house, Yugao saw someone she had not seen in the last few months. Anko! Yugao-chan! The woman before left Yugao speechless. Where there was once a skinny and curvy young woman was now a plump and chubby-cheeked woman. I haven't seen you in months. Hey, Anko! Yugao was still shocked at seeing her friend like this before a smirk crossed her face. What? Anko asked. So it finally happened, huh? The woman thought you looked good. I got fat, I know. The woman knew the thought crossed her mind. Oh no, really you look good. It could have been a lot worse, honesty. I'm not worried, the woman said and ate 3 dango sticks at the same time. Really? Ever since the Fourth Shinobi World War ended, the more physically demanding and intense missions and conflict weren't as high anymore. Which meant that a lot of shinobi weren't as physically active. Yeah, I'm fine, this is nothing, Anko said. I can get rid of it in no time, any time I want, she boasted. Yugao frowned. I doubt it'll be that easy, Anko. Ninja did have high metabolisms and burn fat more easily and quickly than civilians, but it still took time for it to happen. That metabolism wasn't as high when they got older though. It will take you at least 3 to 5 weeks to lose all that fat. Maybe even more with your eating habits, Anko. Wanna make a bet? Anko smiled at her friend. Even when she smiles it still sends chills. Yugao knew Anko had mellowed out a bit since a decade ago, but the woman hadn't lost her sadistic streak. Terms? Simple. I lose all this fat before 3 weeks and you have to treat someone at Yakiniku for a whole week. And if I don't, then you can have me do anything you want for the same amount of time, Anko said. Deal? Yugao smirked, and both women shook on it. Anko-sensei. Yugao looked behind her and saw a dark-skinned and plump young girl call out to them. Cho-cho. The woman greeted her close student with a hug. Yugao, this is Akimichi Cho-cho. Cho-cho, Yugao's treating us to lunch today. Yeah. Huh. An aura of chakra suddenly surrounded Anko, and to the Umbu commander's fascination and horror, Yugao watched as the plump purple-haired woman revert back to her skinny self in a matter of seconds. Told ya, I could do it. Anko merely stood there with her hands on her now slender waist. A wide smirk crossed her face as Yugao continued being speechless. I have a very good relationship with my students, Yugao. Cho-cho's father actually let me learn this neat little trick. Her smirk got even wider. But that's cheating. Says who? We never said I couldn't do this to lose the weight, Yugao realized then, and there she had been played like a fiddle. Now about lunch? Yugao was thankful for being in the Umbu. Had it not been for her high rank pay, and she was glad it was only those two, she had no doubt she'd be forced to take out a second mortgage on her house. Both Anko and her student had eaten her out of a month's pay in a week. Chapter 11. Lessons Taken to Heart. Naruto rushed towards his apartment as though a mob or horde of enemies were after him. The very life of his Nikken was potentially at stake. Please be okay, he continued to repeat and prayed his Nikken came to no harm. Bolting up the stairs and slamming into his apartment door, making a huge crack in the wood as a result, Naruto soon found his head wrapped up tightly and felt a prick in his neck. Though he struggled valiantly, the boy soon felt his body go numb and darkness take him. Wasn't expecting this, but it works all the same, the intruder voiced. Now on to the final phase. Sometime later, ugh, shit, Naruto groaned as he woke up from his slumber. Trying to get up, Konoha's resident Jinchuriki realized that he was bound very tightly to a chair. Trying to reach for a kunai or sharp object was of no use either. Whoever did this to him had taken away any method he could use to escape. should have really paid more attention when Irika-sensei demonstrated the Naonuk no Jutsu, rope escape technique. The irony wasn't lost on him. "You're awake, good," a voice from the darkness suddenly spoke out. "Huh?" Naruto didn't know if his mind was playing tricks on him, but he swore he recognized the voice. "Anko?" Suddenly the lights came on and Naruto was greeted with the sight of his mentor. "Hey Gaki." "What's up?" Anko chirped at him. "Anko? What the hell are you doing to Hado?" he asked upon spotting his Niken in her arms. Why in the small Niken whimpered. Currently he was dressed up in a humiliating outfit. A female outfit too. "Oh, this? Just getting a little payback," she shrugged. "Picture?" she asked him and showed a series of humiliating photos that involved his Niken. Why is he not moving? Naruto knew that Hado would be fidgeting or vocally protesting this. That would be thanks to this little baby. She casually held up a vial of yellow liquid. "It's a paralyzing agent that takes away your ability to move or speak coherently." "You drugged my dog," he shouted. "I did say I would get back at him, but because I need to leave tomorrow I decided to do it tonight instead." "Honestly, I was going to do the same to you, but you were out," she said, and Naruto paled. "You were gonna drug me too?" He was a little disturbed by how casually she said it. "Wait a minute, you did drug me." "Ah, quit your bitchin', Gaki, and don't worry about it. It'll wear off in an hour or so. I've done this to a few friends to get them to a surprise party, and to get back at some assholes. Think of it as an elaborate prank," she told him. "Hey, I prank, but even I think this going too far," he told her. "Really? 'Cause if I recall, you've broken into a few places before and set up quite the array of booby traps all rigged to go off if a single one gets triggered. Remember?" She looked at him all-knowingly, and the boy blushed. Naruto realized he had been caught. The blonde had only done this a few times before to store owners or students who were complete assholes in his mind. Though he had gotten caught a few times, other times many had merely suspected him to be the culprit, but since none of them could prove it, he had been let go. Besides, as your mentor, I can classify this as training. And oh boy, would you have failed spectacularly, Gaki. Naruto looked at her in disbelief. Fail? How could I fail? Really? Here she put Hado down, and the Niken whimpered some more. Let's start with your most recent failure. You saw your lights turn on, and instead of either being smart about it, you let your emotions cloud your judgment, and decided to come rushing in without a plan. Look where that got ya. Naruto blushed with embarrassment. Naruto had gotten better at controlling his emotions since he began training with her, but the blonde boy still had his moments. Secondly, you didn't know the Naonuk no Jutsu to get out of this. Granted, that's partially my fault. I should have asked if you knew it when we began training, but that's like the basics of the basics. Though even if you did know it, this is special rope that disrupts the chakra for that technique from being executed. Finally, improper locks or countermeasures placed around the entrances of this place to prevent people from breaking into your house. Had I been an enemy, I could have slit both your throats and been on my merry way, Gaki. While Konoha was one of the great five, they were far from perfect. It wasn't unheard of foreign or enemy ninjas slipping and pulling it off. Hell, I could have cut you open the moment you barged in here, guns blazing. I've done it before, so I know what I'm talking about, Gaki. Naruto chalked and paled simultaneously at how she could say such a thing so casually, and with a straight face. You've killed people in their sleep. Anko nodded. In their sleep, when they entered their home, you name it, Gaki. Some missions you'll need to undertake in the future will involve this kind of work. Depending on the circumstances, you need to kill them in a specific way. Be it making it look like an accident or suicide. Naruto understood, but it didn't make it any easier. The academy had always been vague on this sort of thing. Up until now, he had merely killed animals, not humans. The zombies were already dead, sort of, and didn't count in his mind. Naruto knew he'd be forced to do so in the future, but knowing and accepting the reality of doing the deed were two completely different things. This is why the right was done in the academy, Naruto. Konoha needs to know that their future forces will have what it takes to make sure they can stomach what others can't. To be a ninja means to endure what others can't. Otherwise, our reputation and way of life goes down the shitter if we fail these types of missions. It ain't pretty, that I'll acknowledge, but it has to be done either way. You want to be Hokage, Endure this and become the best goddamn ninja there is. Not once did Anko's voice waver, and from the use of his name for the first time since this whole thing began, Naruto knew she was leveling with him. Truthfully, she hadn't meant for it to end up like this, but for whatever reason she couldn't stop herself. As much as she wanted to deny it, Anko had a soft spot for Naruto. She had a soft spot for her student. God damn it, I'm turning into a pansy. She found the whole situation ironic. For so long she ranted on about not wanting to take care or caring for snot-nosed brats, and now here she was getting all sentimental for one. Naruto was her responsibility, and she'd be damned if she let anything happen to him or his Niken while under her care. Anyway, enough of this gloom, doom and heartfelt talk crap. She broke the tension in typical Anko manner. But you're gonna need to put some defenses around this place. Not everyone in a ninja village is working for the same team as us. Here she tossed him a scroll. Don't open it up now. All I'll say is that it should stop others from breaking in. Thanks, Anko-sensei. The blonde was sincere when he said this. It then dawned on Naruto that it was the first he ever called her that. 2 firsts in one day. Sensei, huh? I like it. Has a nice ring to it, she smirked. All right, on to another subject. What you get this time? Naruto didn't doubt she knew he entered a dungeon, but first things first, you mind healing me and Hado? He couldn't exactly get out of this without showing off his ninpo, Gariki, to her. He wanted a few things to remain a secret. Pay back when we fight. You're no fun. Anko pouted but complied and injected him and the puppy with their respective antidotes. There we go, good as new. Next time don't ruin my fun, mutt. Grr, Hadamaru merely growled at the woman who paralyzed him. Some way or another she'd get her comeuppance. Don't you growl at me, Poochie. She took out some pictures and he paled. Unless you want the Inuzuka dog seeing these, she smirked as Hadamaru hid behind Naruto with his tail tucked between his legs. Good boy, she said and directed her attention towards her ward, Spill. Honestly, other than me leveling up and getting a cool piece of armor, it sucked. His answer was simple and straight to the point. Got a couple techniques such as the Shunshin, body flicker technique, and the Dakaso, toxic luster claw, but I can't use M. Don't have the requirements. Don't doubt it. The Shunshin's a D-rank technique, but it requires a great amount of control to vitalize every single part of your body. You can hurt yourself pretty damn badly otherwise. Anko wasn't lying, as she knew firsthand on how much it could hurt. Even if one vitalized the muscles that moved the body, the brain wouldn't be able to register the images fast enough if it wasn't vitalized either. Basically, the person would be moving at extreme speeds blindfolded. Which was why high levels of chakra control was required alongside high levels of chakra. Still useful though, Gaki. You'll just have to meet those requirements, simple as that. What was the other one? She pried. A poison technique called Dakaso, toxic luster claw. Though it was cool, Naruto wasn't really interested in learning healing techniques. Poisons, yes, but not healing. Why bother wasting chakra when he had potions and items that would do that? For thinking things, let me see, she asked him and gave the scroll he passed her a look over. Damn interesting, considering who her former mentor was. She had seen a variety of poison-based ninjutsu. Poison-laced kunai, expelling poison from her mouth, even poison being passed from her teeth like a snake. She had seen them and used most of them, but using them from her nails was new to her. Hell, it said the chakra could be molded into a dangerous and potentially lethal whip. Mind if I have this? It had been a while since she was interested in learning a technique, and this one caught her interest. How much? He asked her. He wasn't going to learn the technique, but he damn well wasn't going to give it away for free either. Unique C-rank techniques like this could bring him a good amount of Rio on the Abyss Auction House's website. Wanna run that by me again, Gaki? It was balls a move on his part, she thought. You told me that ninja take advantage of every opportunity that presents itself. I have something you want. What's in it for me? He smirked. Want a boob job? Her answer threw him off guard. What? He blushed and Anko laughed at his look. God damn it. Oh, that never gets old, she laughed and wiped a tear from her eye before getting down to business. But seriously now. How much you want, Gaki? 200,000 Rio, he said with a straight face, and Anko frowned. It was quite a bit of money after all, but this wasn't your run-of-the-mill technique either. Technically speaking, she would have demanded more, but guessed Naruto was giving her a discount or was inexperienced at haggling. Either way suited her. Enko could easily afford it, but the purple-haired woman was a haggler for this sort of thing too. 150,000 ryo, she countered, and he shook his head. No way, 200,000 ryo, he said once more, his previous amount having not changed. Scowling, Enko made another offer, 110,000 ryo, and I teach you how to make poisons and a useful technique when I get back, she countered. His interest piqued. Naruto asked, what sort of technique? A useful one, Enko informed him. A useful unknown rank 1? That was her best offer. That's it. Trust me, you'll like this one, she told him. She wasn't lying either. Make it 120,000, you teach me poisons, and you need to teach me a way to restore someone's chakra, he countered. Enko didn't expect that. Why do you want to learn that? Hato doesn't have a lot of chakra, so he runs out pretty quickly, he explained, and Enko understood. I guess that's doable. To be honest, I've only been taught the basic theory on how to steal someone else's chakra. Never really used it myself, but the concepts between chakra absorption techniques and the chakra transfer techniques are similar, so it shouldn't be too hard. If it can't be done, I'll teach you that other technique instead, okay? Naruto nodded. It was fair in his mind. All right, Gaki, you've got yourself a deal. To finalize it, Enko stuck her hand out. I want the ryo before you leave. Enko merely humphed but nodded before they shook hands, and they sealed the deal. Your bartering skill has increased by 1. Fine, the woman realized she was probably teaching him too well. Speaking of which, by the way, Gaki, how would you be interested in learning Kenjutsu? Kenjutsu? Sweet. Though his basic bladed weapon mastery skill was useful and he learned techniques as it leveled up, knowing an actual style and its techniques could very well go a long way. Hey, why didn't you teach me Kenjutsu before? Me? Enko shook her head. I wouldn't know the first thing on how to wield a sword, the first time her master tried teaching her. Saying it didn't end well wouldn't do it justice. Skilled as she was in various fields, being skilled in the art of the sword she was not. The man had called her accident-prone and a walking disaster when using a sword. Hyde's interested in teaching you. Thinks you've got potential. This sick-looking guy? Naruto had his doubts but would take her word for it. While it was a crude, Enko couldn't help but agree that it was an accurate description of the ninja swordsman. Yep, but he's one of Konoha's best when it comes to Kenjutsu. Probably would have been the very best had a set of circumstances not occurred, as much as she liked teasing him. Enko knew Hate could have easily become a sword master with his skill. But life was a cold-hearted bitch at times, and it was not to be. Changing the subject, Enko asked, You get anything else? Judging from his face-splitting grin, Enko could safely assume he found something something very good. Yep, but I ain't showing it, he grinned at her reaction. Fucking tease, she couldn't believe this kid. Well, whatever. Other than telling you this, I have nothing more to say. Oh, wait, there was one more thing. What's that? Naruto asked, but suddenly found himself falling face forward. Another Enko behind him holding a needle in her hand. Nighty-night, Gaki, she grinned. Arf arf. Grr. Hadamaru growled at her. Oh, pipe down, Puchigaki. Don't you want to see your partner wearing this? The picture she showed him made him stop his growling. I thought you'd see it my way. Next morning, huh? What the hell? God damn it, Enko. Naruto groaned as he realized he'd been drugged, once again, by his eccentric and psychotic teacher. At least she was kind enough, or merciful enough, to put him to bed. Groaning, Naruto got up and waddled to the bathroom to go about his morning ritual. What the bloody fucking hell? Suddenly the door to his apartment opened up and Naruto spotted his cranky old landlord brat. How many times the man's ranting was cut short as he spotted Naruto. His mouth moved but no words came out. Naruto honestly thought he was having a stroke. Slowly the man backed out into the hall and closed the entrance. Bwahahaha. Naruto became flushed with anger at the man. It's not funny, god damn it. The embarrassed and angry blonde shouted at him, doubting he could be heard by the laughing landlord anyway. Looking back in the mirror, Naruto closed his eyes, pinched his cheeks hard, and opened them again. To his horror, his hopes of this being a dream, more like nightmare, were utterly and completely dashed. Looking back at him was the face of a female geisha, one that mimicked his every move. In the reflective glass, the boy spotted ruby red lipstick, midnight black eyeliner, curled eyelashes, pale as snow skin adorned with a rosy blush, the whole regalia. Arf! Naruto looked behind him and saw his Niken mirthfully rolling on the floor. This only made Naruto scowl even more, and the boy was tempted to strangle his laughing partner. Some's punishment be damned. His entire body trembling with fury, Naruto grabbed onto the wig and pulled with all his might, OWW. Which was then considered a very dumb move on his part. Deciding to take off his clothes, Naruto quickly changed his mind upon seeing a pair of medium-sized pale-looking breasts. Seeing them wasn't a big deal, but not seeing something else was for the geisha-looking boy. What the hell? Oh, god damn it, did she give me a fucking sex change or something? He wondered. For some reason he wouldn't put it past her. This was Anko after all. Henge. He called out, but nothing happened and the boy was still in her female-looking form. Oh, you're fucking shitting me, he cursed. Fear or not, he was going to get Anko back for this. Arf, arf, he heard Hato, and the transformed boy just had about enough of it, and moved towards the stripped puppy. As he did though, he heard the fluttering of paper behind him and spotted something pinned to the back of his kimono. This better not be a damn kick me sign, he groused and tore it off. Dear Gaki. Hope you enjoyed my little gift to you. Took me a while, but I managed to pull it off. You are now 100% female. What? The boy felt faint as he read those words. Just kidding. Really wish I was there to see your face when you read that part. But seriously, this little number is a special henge I managed to put on you. It can be taken off. Oh, thank you, merciful Kami. Naruto breathed a sigh of relief and continued to read. However, I'm not telling you how. If you want to lose the breasts and get your dick back, you need to rendezvous with Yugao and Hate at their place. Fuck that noise. Naruto had no intention of letting anyone see him like this. You're probably thinking there's no way in hell you're going to do that. You think you're going to manage to release this all by yourself. Sorry to bust your balls, or lack thereof, but it ain't gonna work, Gaki. To make things more interesting, I put a seal on you that suppresses your ability to use chakra. That means you can't hide, run, or do anything to prevent my demands from being met. I also instructed those two not to change you back unless you get there by a certain time. Fuck, he groaned. There was no escaping it. Good luck, Gaki. See you in a few days. Love, Anko. P.S. I left a little something on that cute pale tight ass of yours. Huh? Lifting the back of his kimono and looking in the mirror, Naruto deadpanned when he saw what was there. This ass is property of the sexy and vivacious Mitarashi Anko, he read. Oh, Kami, just kill me now, today just wasn't his day. Looking around his apartment, Naruto noticed that any shred of clothing or fabric he could use to cover himself up was gone. The woman had been very thorough with her prank. Wait a minute. Reaching out, Naruto managed to take out his crimson cloak of the fire rat from his inventory box. As the technique didn't require any chakra to use it, his ability to put and take things out wasn't disabled. Nice try, Anko-sensei, he smirked and put the cloak on and covered himself up. Walking out of his apartment, Naruto slowly made his way onto the bustling streets of Konoha. Covering his now female body as best as he could with his awesome cloak, Naruto walked as fast as he possibly could. The kimono wasn't helping because of how close-fitting it was, and the cloak he held wrapped closely around his body to hide his identity didn't allow for swift movement on the moment. The fact that the kimono itself was seal-bound to his body didn't help either. Just don't make eye contact with anyone. Keep your eyes on the ground and slowly make your way towards the house, he told himself. Arf. Naruto froze and spun his head around and spotted his grinning Niken. Oh shit. Disguised as he was, it would do him squat if Hato followed him. By now many knew he had a Niken, and with Hatomara's easily recognizable looks many would put two and two together and figure it out. Hato, go away! He hissed lowly, but the Niken didn't budge. Oh, you little mother! Glancing around, Naruto speed walked as quickly as he could, but the little shit that was his Niken easily followed him. Go away! He looked back as he turned a corner. Oof. Naruto felt his head smack into someone, and his unpreparedness made him and the individual fall on top of each other. Ow. Hey! Watch where you're going. Oh, Kami, no. Looking up, Naruto's skin would have palled even further had the special henge not be in place. In front of him was none other than Inuzuka Kiba. Hey there, was the boy's attempt at being suave. Let me help you. The boy helped the geisha up and Naruto felt the feral boy's hand brush against his ass a few times. Naruto was sorely tempted to beat the life out of him for that stunt. Where are you going in such a hurry? He asked the pretty geisha, as though he hadn't done anything wrong. Nowhere. Naruto opted to disguise his voice and glanced back at a smirking Hadamara that had hidden himself away. Just visiting family, he dusted and then covered himself up as fast as possible. Much to Kiba's displeasure. I'll help you, he offered. Yeah, I bet you would. Despite the Inuzuka clan heir's age, Naruto knew how lecherous Kiba was and didn't doubt the horned dog was simply doing this with the hopes of getting in his pants. Oh, sweet Kami, that sounds so fucking wrong. The disguised boy was just about ready to hurl his guts out. You okay? Kiba asked the girl. You look ready to lose it. I'm fine, Naruto lied. The whole situation was very wrong and sick in his mind. Thank you, though. Maybe you should come over to my place for a while till you get better. It was evident that Kiba was new at this despite his frequent boasted at the academy. Offering to take a girl to his place already without properly knowing her was a dumbass move on his part. It's alright, really. I insist, the boy pushed. Look, asshole, beat it. Naruto had enough and his real voice came out accidentally. Stunned by the suddenness of it all, Kiba's mind soon registered the voice and an image popped into his mind. Naru the blonde clamped his hand around Kiba's mouth. Sure, he harshly shushed the Inuzuka heir. You want the whole world to know? The boy merely gaped and almost seemed catatonic upon realizing the girl he was trying to pick up was Naruto of all people. The boy even had to swallow the bile that rose up from his stomach when he recalled him stroking his ass. Oh fuck no. Oh sweet Kami, no. Yeah, this was very awkward indeed in the blonde, now dark-haired academy student's mind. Both males simultaneously wished they knew a way to annihilate this memory, as though it never happened. What the fuck, man? The boy snarled, his confusion and disgust now replaced with typically Inuzuka anger. Why are you dressed up like a chick? You a cross-dresser or transvestite who secretly gives hand jobs or something? Forcing down his own bile once more, Naruto shook his head furiously. Fuck no! This is Anko's doing. Anko? The snake bitch? Naruto nodded despite his lack of candor towards describing his mentor. Looking at the geisha transformed boy, and then up and down, Kiba cringed with sympathy. I've only met her a few times compared to Mom and Sis, that last time being the longest. He and Akamaru shuddered, but from what Mom's told me I can see happening. Damn, that's gotta suck. Unlike his mother and sister who worked with Anko on a regular basis, and had a great relationship with her, Kiba didn't know Anko all that well. Hell, his sister told him Anko's relationship with them basically made her a family member in all but blood. Dude, you don't know the half of it. Naruto wouldn't wish this type of thing on anyone. Well, maybe a few. He mentally counted off those who wronged him in the past. So, are they real? Kiba asked. What the hell, dog breath? The blonde couldn't believe him. What? I'm just asking if they're real. It's not like I'm asking, okay. First off, I don't know. It's a special henge she put on me, so maybe. Kiba had to admit he was impressed as casting a henge on someone else was much more difficult than doing it to yourself. The concept basically required one to manipulate the other person's chakra and surround them in a shell of their desired image. The Inuzuka clan did it with their ninken by synchronizing their familiar's chakra with their own. Doing it this way made the process being much easier than with someone unwilling. Secondly, finish that sentence and I'll neuter you with a rusty spoon, he scowled. A spoon? Don't you mean kunai? A spoon is dull, you twit. It'll hurt a hell of a lot more. Kiba cringed and subconsciously covered up his manhood. Geisha Naruto was crazy Naruto. Crazier actually now that he thought about it. So, what now? Now I'm forced to walk to her friend's place so I get rid of this damn thing, Naruto informed him. Well, at least it can't get any shit, Kiba pointed across the street and Naruto turned green. Across was a poster with his regular appearance, and his now transformed appearance. Swiping it from the wall, Naruto and Kiba began to read it, and Naruto turned even greener. Damn, that sucks, man. I mean, you've done some good pranks, but she's got you beat on this. Seriously, telling the whole village that you had a sex change and you're willing to do me a favor and shut the fuck up. Naruto shouted at him. Okay, Naruto. The boy blinked. What? Naruto. Can't exactly call you Naruto anymore. Technically speaking, you are a chick now, Kiba grinned. Naruto merely remained stone-faced upon hearing those words. He muttered, and faster than he could react, Kiba felt a leg extending into his crotch and found himself screaming in pain a few octaves higher. Pervert. Sexual harassment. Naruto shrieked in a feminine voice as he fled the scene. The boy spotted quite a few kunoichi approaching down Kiba, and he smirked as he made his way towards Hate and Yugao's house. The Inuzuka clan's air screams of agony being music to his ears. Some time later, oh, thank God you're back, Naruto didn't care if it sounded gay or not, but he was glad to see his dick again. You know how that sounds, right? Yugao asked him. Don't care, was his reply. After getting into a few other close calls on his way here, the boy had almost come close to ending his misery a few times. His suffering didn't end there either. After Yugao and Hate had a good laugh at his expense, they made him get to work, while he was still looking like a geisha. When asked why, he found out it was because he hadn't arrived on time. Moving and doing things had been extremely difficult because of the kimono he wore, and it had taken the boy an extra hour to finally finish all the chores that was needed to be done. Naruto vowed that Anko was seriously going to pay for this at some point. The only upside was him getting his pay from Anko, having been left with Yugao and Hate, and his clothes back. When you're done admiring yourself, Naruto, I'd like to get started, Hate called out and held a set of bakken in his hands. Doing as told, the blonde boy stood in front of Hate. Right then, let's see what you got first. Catching the bakken tossed at him, Naruto had to admit it had some weight to it despite being a piece of wood. That bakken there has a seal on it designed to make it feel like you're holding an actual sword. Most bakken are light, so when practitioners actually start using a sword for the first time, it throws them off. "'Kay, so what do you want me to do?" he asked the man. "Hold your horses. To start off, you need to know a bit about the fighting style I'm going to teach you. The Konoha Kenjutsu is centered off of speed and deception. The techniques used in this fighting style require you to not only be quicker than others but fool them into thinking where you are going to strike. As such, to properly use these techniques, we're going to be honing your speed, reflexes, and basic swordsmanship at the moment until I feel you're ready to learn some of the basic techniques. Got it? The skill Konoha Kenjutsu has become available. Would you like to learn it?" Yes/no, yes was Naruto's answer to both, the action making a screen suddenly popped up at him. Beginner's Konoha Kenjutsu. LV1. Next LV0/75. A skill that allows the user to use the sword fighting style of Konoha. Once used and created by Senju Tobirama, this sword style places a high emphasis on speed and deceit in order to properly utilize its techniques. At the moment, the skill set for beginners mainly focuses on speed and reflexes. Asterisk passively increases movement speed and evasion by 10%. Asterisk passively increases the striking speed of bladed weapons by 10%. Asterisk passively increases the critical hit rate of bladed weapons by 10%. Asterisk passively increases stealth or sneak sword based attacks by 20%. You've received the cumulative perk Beginner Konoha Kenjutsu Swordsman. However, your current level only allows you to carry up to 4 perks. You can switch out a current perk with other ones whenever you are outside of dungeons and combat. Cumulative perks are great to have, as unlike regular perks that remain the same no matter what happens, these ones will get stronger depending on the actions taken or a criteria being accomplished. This means that whenever you level up, you will gain additional attribute points boosts. You currently have 2 cumulative perks: Apprentice Zombie Slayer, Beginner Konoha Kenjutsu Swordsman Suite. Naruto couldn't believe his luck. "You ready, kid?" Seeing him nod, Hate began giving out commands. "Okay, then give me 100 horizontal slashes and 100 vertical ones," Hate ordered the boy. "Get to it." Shrugging, Naruto set off to do just that. His basic bladed weapon mastery was already at level 6, nearing 7, thanks to the rat dungeon. Coupled with now learning this new skill, it shouldn't be too hard to do. Swinging horizontally several times, Hate ordered him to stop. Okay, not bad for a beginner. You've got a decent grasp on how to swing a sword, but your stance is off a bit. Here, spread your legs apart a little more but keep them parallel to each, and have your left leg come back a little. Your shoulders shouldn't be tense either, otherwise your swings won't be as fast. Only tense them when you swing downwards to put a little extra force into it, or when blocking someone else's strikes. Try now, Hate ordered him to go once more. Already Naruto felt a difference. The boy felt more balanced and his swings were more fluid and agile than they used to be. Despite not looking like it, Naruto had to admit that Hate knew what he was doing. Once he was done this exercise, the two moved on to a new one. Okay, kid, not bad. Do it again, only this time give me twice the amount of swings. Not once did Naruto complain. Every time he was done this set, he was then asked to do it over again, and again. As the dozens of minutes continued to pass by and the new amount of swings he needed to perform had Naruto start to feel the burn in his arms until they felt ready to fall off. Okay, stop. Take a break, Naruto did as he was told and plopped down on the ground spread eagle style. Catch! With what strength he had left in his arms, Naruto caught a bottle that held a weird and green liquid-looking substance. What's this? He asked. Special drink that functions like a weaker version of a military ration pill. It won't recover chakra, but it'll help speed up your muscles' recovery from the wear and tear along with giving you a little more energy. It's an old family recipe of mine. May not look like much, but it works, Hate boasted. Yeah, if you don't mind wanting to hurl your insides out in the process, Yugao mentally added. The woman watched on nostalgically as Naruto took a swig and proceeded to do the same thing she did years ago. Blah. What the hell's in this? Naruto had tasted some pretty foul things before, but this took the prize. What would you expect? Green tea? While the taste of certain medicines could be altered to taste better, the most effective ones for this sort of purpose usually had an awful or bland taste because of the ingredients needed to be used in making it. The more powerful ones, such as military ration pills, had more powerful ingredients and stimulants. This gave more energy and versatile recovery, but caused the body to crash and burn heavily after a certain amount of time had passed. Ptwas, Hate muttered lowly as he heard Naruto complaining about the taste once more. Keep drinking it. Won't work if you don't drink the whole thing. Once Naruto was done drinking the god-awful formula, both he and Hate relaxed for a few more minutes before they got back to it. For the next few hours of the day, Naruto did what Hate told him without any fuss. The blonde Jinchuriki did various exercises on blocking, redirecting, and countering. Had he been able to use his Gariki, it would have most likely made it much easier, but didn't want to risk being questioned. Following that, they then worked on Naruto's reflexes and close counters. This was done by Naruto having to dodge Hayate's fast sword slashes or risk getting hit by the Bakken. More than several times did he struck in the legs, arms, or head. To make things even more challenging, the boy was forced to do this without the protection of his own Bakken. Ha! Hate swung upwards and nearly struck Naruto in the chest. Ugh, the sweat-covered boy grunted and watched as the tip of Hayate's Bakken nicked his hair. The boy knew he couldn't stop moving. Doing so meant he'd get hit, which in real life could lead to death or potentially dismemberment. In this case it would lead to pain. Despite how they looked, the wooden constructs were very hard. Naruto would attest to that himself. Faster! Hate ordered as he upped the speed of his swings, stabs, and overall movements. Shit! Naruto ducked low and backpedaled from the man's swings and stabs at him. Naruto's legs were burning from the swift and constant movement he was forced to do. More than once did the boy find himself on his ass from a sudden movement, and he was forced to roll and get back up just as quickly or risk getting struck by the wooden sword. When Hate swung once again, Naruto lashed out with an unexpected kick that took the sickly man by surprise. Not bad, he congratulated the boy for his quick thinking, but this is a game of dodge. Ah! Naruto hissed as the Bakken smacked against his knee. Ha! Hayate's next swing was low, aimed at his feet, and Naruto was forced to jump upwards. But the evasive action proved futile as Hate used the momentum of his swing, held his Bakken in reverse, and stabbed backwards and struck him in the gut. Gah! Naruto felt the air rush out of his lungs as the piece of wood made contact. The force behind it also caused the blonde to sail several feet away and start skidding upon making contact with the hard and unforgiving ground. Were he still not suffering from the previous blow, Naruto would surely start gasping for air. For a moment nothing happened and Naruto was starting to think the blow somehow made him forget how to breathe. It wasn't even headshot either. Alright, calm down, kid. Hate appeared next to him and rubbed his back. This can happen sometimes. There's no need to worry. Gah! Naruto gasped and air finally filled or escaped his lungs. Naruto honestly didn't know which. There you go, he patted his trainee. Not bad, kid. Here, drink this. Seeing what he was being offered, Naruto glared at the man. You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? The man merely coughed. Quit whining and drink your poison, was all he said, much to Naruto's consternation. Once you're done drinking that, and you rest for a bit, I'm gonna put you through a little test. Test? Naruto asked between gulps, as well as trying to keep his stomach contents down. Test, the man affirmed. You're not only going to give me 200 horizontal and vertical slashes like before, but faster as well. If I see any faults in your form, I will add a second to your time, and if it's not met, you have to start over. Succeed, and I'll teach you one of the basic techniques. Fail, and you'll have to wait till you get it down, he ordered the blonde student and took out a stopwatch. Whenever you're ready. Quest alert. Sword Basics for Dummies main quest. Perform 200 vertical swings and 200 horizontal swings before the allotted time is up. Side quest. Finish main quest 10 seconds earlier. Second side quest. Finish main quest 20 seconds earlier. Main quest completion. 500 EXP. Plus 150 reputation with Hate and Yugao. Plus 2 DX. Side quest completion. 150 EXP. Plus 50 reputation with Hate and Yugao. Plus 1 DX. Second side quest completion. 200 EXP. Plus 100 reputation with Hate and Yugao. Plus 2 attribute points. Failure. 100 EXP. Quest can be retaken, huh? Why? Naruto accepted the quest, but the man's order still confused him. Why what? Why are we doing this sort of thing instead of anything new? Naruto clarified for the man. Simple. Cough. At the moment, all these exercises are meant to try and create muscle memory, among other things. To make learning this easier for you, and make it so you can pull moves off like this on instinct. This way, when we move on to learning techniques and other exercises, your body will be better adjusted to use and learn them, he informed the boy. When Naruto finished downing the last of the horrible tasting liquid, Naruto rested for a good solid 10 minutes. When the time was up, Hate tossed him a Bakken and Naruto got into his stance. Now, sword ready and go. He clicked the stopwatch and looked on as Naruto began. Up, down, left, right, the movements repeated themselves as Naruto swung his sword as told. The boy tried his best to concentrate as much as possible and swing as fast as possible too. The tasks were easier said than done. As several minutes passed away, the fast pace he forced his arms to go at caused them to start burning, and the boy knew he had made some mistakes along the way. Hate remained impassive as he watched his student. Naruto had potential and guts and didn't do things half-assed like most would. The man wasn't regretting his decision to teach the boy. However, he also saw Naruto starting to slow down, and looking at the time on his stopwatch, the man knew the boy still had a ways to go. Up, down, right, left, up, down, right, left, Naruto continued, and just as he made it to the last 20-some stretch, a voice called out. Time. Quest failed. Sword Basics for Dummies main quest. Perform 200 vertical swings and 200 horizontal swings before the allotted time is up. Failed. Side quest. Finish main quest 10 seconds earlier. Not accomplished. Second side quest. Finish main quest 20 seconds earlier. Not accomplished. Rewards earned. 100 EXP. Hate sighed and Naruto was downtrodden. The boy had failed. Oh, he knew that despite failing he could do it again, but it was still failure no matter how one sliced it. He had failed a few quests before with Enko, but he had managed to succeed on his first try too. Damn it, a frustrated Naruto growled. Don't beat yourself up, kid, Hate said. Even I didn't get as close a number on my first try doing this, and I'm a prodigy in Kenjutsu. The man decided to leave out the fact that he also had performed much less mistakes too. The boy needed to be cheered up after this loss. Yeah, right? Naruto didn't believe him. Really, kid? I'm not sure if Anko's told you this, but being a prodigy means nothing in the ninja world. You can be a prodigy in swordsmanship or taijutsu, but eventually you'll meet someone who isn't but realize they are better than you. Sure, they have advantage at first, but sooner or later that won't amount to nothing if they face off against someone with more experience, or has a slight advantage somewhere else. For example, who do you think would win, a prodigy in taijutsu or a decent taijutsu user? Naruto was sorely tempted to say the prodigy. Does the other guy have anything else going for him? Hate merely smiled at the boy's thinking. Good answer, kid. In this scenario, the prodigy is skilled in taijutsu and knows all the forms instinctively, but the other guy has speed and wit the prodigy can match. It could go either way. Remember, it's not the prodigious or strongest fighter that always wins the fight, but the fastest, smartest, and most dedicated. You may not have gotten it this time, I'd be surprised if you did, but if you keep at it you'll get it eventually. Took me 4 times before I could accomplish this. He patted the boy on the back. All right, enough talking, back to exercising. Hi! Naruto nodded his head. Both student and teacher continued to do this for a couple more hours before Naruto was finally spent. Hate had to admit that the boy's stamina would got a long way into helping the boy. The man wished he had half the kid's stamina when he was his age. Not bad for a first day, kid. Come back tomorrow after class and we'll have another go, Hate instructed, but received a tired moan in return. But first let's get you home. Creating a Kage Bunshin, Hate's clone grabbed Naruto and Hadamaru, and proceeded to take the boy back home. Come back tomorrow right after class and we'll continue. The man got a half-hearted wave from the boy as a response. Both his teachers were slave drivers. What do you think? Hate asked his lover. The boy's got potential. A bit unrefined and sloppy, but he has decent skill when it comes to using a blade. Yugao had always been one to set high standards for herself and others. Part of her also blamed her former captain for that too. Most kids wouldn't have lasted a third as long him. I know, Hate nodded. The academy standards had gone downhill in the past couple of decades. At first it was fine as Konoha got more ninja from civilians, but the average graduation age now was 12 or 13 compared to the old 10. Yugao had even heard Anko complain on what was now being taught compared to the old curriculum. You weren't bored, were you? No. I played with his Niken, she smiled, and Hate felt sorry. The man knew when she said play she meant something else. Explains the cuts and bruises I saw on him. The pup would need it though when he thought about it. Getting the experience on how to dodge sword strikes was just as important as learning them. Hadamaru wouldn't be able to learn them, but dodging them would help the Niken immensely in the future. So what should we do now? Yugao asked. Both had some time to kill for the next few days. I have a few ideas. The man snaked his arm around his blushing lover, and both made their way back home. Life was good at the moment, and Hate wouldn't change anything about it. Omake, worst wedding day ever. Maybe you should come over to my place for a while till you get better. It was evident that Kiba was new at this despite his frequent boasted at the academy. Offering to take a girl to his place already without properly knowing her was a dumb move on his part. It's alright, really. I insist, the boy pushed. Look, asshole, beat it. Naruto had enough and his real voice came out accidentally. Stunned by the suddenness of it all, Kiba's mind soon registered the voice and an image popped into his mind. Naru the blonde clamped his hand around Kiba's mouth. Sure, he harshly shushed the Inuzuka air. You want the whole world to know? The boy merely gaped and almost seemed catatonic upon realizing the girl he was trying to pick up was Naruto of all people. The boy even had to swallow the bile that rose up from his stomach when he recalled him stroking his ass. Oh fuck no. Oh sweet Cammy, no. Yeah, this was very awkward indeed in the blonde-haired, now dark, academy student's mind. Both males simultaneously wished they knew a way to annihilate this memory, as though it never happened. Unknown to both of them, someone was recording this entire event and both males were none the wiser. Oh, this is gold. Decades later, bring on the entertainment. Kyuubi yelled, slightly influenced by the alcohol in his system. Calm down, dog breath, Naruto laughed. Despite it all, the soon-to-be Hokage couldn't help but be happy for his friend. Kiba was finally getting hitched to Tamaki. A beautiful and nice young woman who was almost the exact opposite of the brown-haired Inuzuka clan heir. Troublesome, Shikamaru sighed, making his best friend Shuji chuckle lightly. Even after all these years, the man still hadn't stopped using his famous catchphrase. Ma. Calm down, Kiba, the current Hokage, one Hatake Kakashi told the boy. They'll be here soon. In the meantime, we have a special video to show you. Video? What the hell kind of lame idea is that? He asked. Kakashi merely shrugged. Anko says it's supposedly a comedy and a very good one. She's making your fiancé and the other women watch it too. Ah, what the hell? Put when the entertainment gets here it's off. Kakashi merely nodded. He wouldn't have it any other way either. Dimming the lights, Kakashi placed the tape into a player and pressed play. Hey! Watch where you're going. Oh, Kami no, looking up Naruto's skin would have palled even further had the special henge not be in place. In front of him was none other than Inuzuka Kiba. Hey there, was the boy's attempt at being suave. Let me help you. The boy helped the geisha up and Naruto felt the feral boy's hand brush against his ass a few times. Naruto was sorely tempted to beat the life out of him for that stunt. Why is this so? Oh fuck, Naruto's eye bulged out. The hell is this? Kiba wondered. It was only until Naruto whispered in his ear did the bachelor sober up, pale to an unknown shade of white, and drop his drink. Oh dear Kami no! I fail see how this is a comedy, Shino wondered out loud. Many of the men present agreed and they failed to spot both Naruto and Kiba flee the scene. Okay, so we're in agreement with what he have to do, right? Naruto asked. Absolutely, kill Anko, Kiba nodded. No, well maybe, I don't know. You try it and see how it goes, Naruto told him. All I know is that we gotta leave Konoha for a few days until this die's done. Dude, I'm getting married tomorrow. Besides, maybe it would be that funny to them, Kiba prayed. Wahahaha. His hopes were dashed when they heard the thunderous roar of laughter coming from the room. Naruto's eye merely twitched and Kiba looked ready to cry. So, lay low? Not on my watch, boys, a voice announced, and both Naruto and Kiba paled when they saw the women from Tamaki's bachelorette party. All of them sported a knowing grin. I figured this would happen, so I had the tape played earlier in the party. Kiba, sweetie, Tamaki looked at her fiancé and the man felt a chill. You weren't thinking of running away like a little bitch now, were you? He couldn't find a proper answer. Because if you were, I'd have to take a page out of Naruto's book and castrate you with a rusty spoon. She smiled even further, and both men paled. Oh, I like this girl, Anko grinned. So you boys going to face the music like men or like a bunch of whiny little bitches? Both men looked at each other and made their decision. The next day Kiba and Tamaki married and the man couldn't leave fast enough to go on an extra long honeymoon. In Naruto's case, the man decided he wanted to spend more time with his family before he became Hokage, and all of them left for spring country to enjoy the beautiful weather. It would be quite some time before anyone would let them forget about the tape. Status window name, Uzumaki Naruto job, the gamer level, 10 next level, 4239/7600 title, Academy student specialization, not applicable HP, 2150 CP, 3350 STR, 40.5 VIT, 55 DX, 62, plus 5, equals 67 INT, 101 WIS. 39.5 LEK? Def 55 perks? Additional plus 3 VIT and plus 5 INT per LV, plus 75 CP per LV, plus 25% additional EXP towards power type fighting style, minus 25% EXP towards chakra control, 40% EXP towards reputation gain. Additional plus 3 VIT and plus 5 INT per LV, plus 50 HP per LV, plus 25% additional EXP towards Fuinjutsu, minus 15% EXP towards chakra control prank king, minus 10% EXP towards reputation gain, plus 15% EXP towards strategy and tactics, plus 15% towards stealth. Additional plus 3 DX per LV Apprentice Zombie Slayer, 40% increase attack and defense against undead. Plus 10 stats when facing undead, plus 15% additional drops in EXP from undead status effects, malnourished, hampered physical growth rate, minus 25% to VID, DX, and STR stat base, plus 20% vulnerability to poisons. Description: Uzumaki Naruto's background is shrouded in mystery. Currently an academy student with inspirations to become Hokage, Naruto has a long and difficult journey ahead of him before he can attain his dream. At the moment, Naruto is considered by many as a shoe-in for the title of Dead Last. Money: 228,640 Rio, $22,864. Stats: 7. Chapter 12. Ready, fight! 2 weeks later. Arf. Hadamaru barked and dodged beneath the behemoth's legs using a well-timed Suga. The Legion zombie missed the evasive Niken and got its legs cut by the drilling technique in the process. The whole hit-and-run tactics had been going on for quite some time now. The zombie boss apparently had enough of this and proceeded to rip off the roof of a nearby building to end it once and for all. Seeing this, Hadamaru ran as quickly as he could in an unpredictable pattern before he dove into an alley, blocking himself from the zombie's line of view. Confused, the boss soon began roaring in anger at the loss of its prey. The Legion zombie prepared to throw the large slab of stone and tiles before a voice rang out behind it. Katan, Rasen Hon no Jutsu, Fire Release, Spiraling Phoenix Flame Technique. Naruto bellowed as a stream of fire flew from his mouth and pierced through the Legion zombie. Like the other times it was used, the powerful Katan technique took a great deal of HP from the zombie boss and set it aflame before the creature turned to ash. Your level has gone up by 1. Your Katan, Rasen Hon, has gone up by 1. Ignoring it, Naruto inspected the area and saw nothing else of interest. It just isn't a challenge anymore, Hado, Naruto sighed, his Niken coming into view behind him. His instant dungeon creation had only just leveled up, giving him access to newer dungeons. Naruto made a note to take a look at them when he had the chance. Arf, the little Niken couldn't help but agree with his partner. Both had come up with a decent strategy against the zombie boss. Attack from a distance, and once its health went down to a certain point, Hadamaru was to distract it as best he could without putting himself in danger. Afterwards the blonde would hit it with his most powerful technique and take it down. This was the 4th time they had faced the boss gathering the loot. Naruto inspected the dropped items. Let's see, 3 potions, 30,000 Rio, and sweet! We got a rare drop here! Naruto grinned at the best find in quite some time. Minor Undead Soul Gem, rare quality, permanently grants, plus 5 STR, plus 5 VIT, and Gakuzeigo no Jutsu, Voracious Sin Technique, status effect, enhancement item description. The concentrated energies of a very strong creature resides within this orb just begging to be released. Using this item will increase your stats and give you a new skill, but can only be used once. Gakuzeigo no Jutsu, Voracious Sin Technique, C rank. LV, 1 next LV, 0%. CP usage, none. This chakra-absorbing technique allows the user to drain chakra from another being through physical contact, making it perfect for trackers and bounty hunters who need to collect live bounties. Through mastery of this technique, one can learn how to potentially transfer the stolen energy to another. A downside of this technique is that the user must make physical contact with another or it will not work, and also leaves the user defenseless and unable to use other techniques while it is being performed. Asterisk does 40 to 50 damage. Asterisk drains 3 CP per second. Asterisk individuals with high WIS can reduce effectiveness. Asterisk ignores enemy armor defense. Asterisk leaves user defenseless and unable to use other techniques while in use. As he thought about using the technique, Anko having not returned from her mission yet due to a set of unknown circumstances, Naruto decided to take another course of action. Hey, Hado, come here. Arf? The small pup cocked his head before standing in front of the boy. See if you can use this, he said and gave the stripped Niken the dark gray orb. Arf. Sniffing at the orb to see if there was anything suspicious, Hado came to the conclusion that it was harmless, and placed his paw on it. Soon the orb flared for a brief second and then shattered into nothingness. Arf! A pleased Hotemaru barked, tail wagging behind him furiously. Thought you might like it. Naruto grinned both at the pup's joy and that his idea worked. No scroll this time. He thought it was a shame really, but it was to be expected. Most of the time some things a dungeon boss dropped repeated themselves. In this case the potions and money. When it came to things such as scroll techniques, armor, or weapons they had a tendency to drop randomly. Even with his veteran zombie slayer perk there was no guarantee of the same drop happening again. Time, he called out and groaned when he saw that it was nearing midnight. Time to call it a night, Hato, Naruto sighed. The weekend had gone by too quickly for his liking. The next day, and so during the Second Shinobi World War the battle between Aim and Konoha had begun to escalate to its peaking point. While Amigekure had a great advantage over Konoha in the beginning, partial thanks to the village leader, Hanzo, as Iruka continued retelling the class about the Second Shinobi World War, Naruto drowned out the rest of the history lesson. Classes at the academy had become so stagnant and boring, even more so than usual. What with him being taught by Hate and Yugao during Anko's absence, coupled with him wanting to master some of his already existing skills, Naruto felt that the academy had little to offer him now. Though Naruto decided to tough it out as it was nearing the graduation ceremony. Thinking back on it, Naruto realized how naive his younger self was to think he was prepared to graduate early. Unknown to the boy, Hiruzen had allowed him to take them because he knew how stubborn Naruto was. While he had confidence in Naruto, the man wanted the boy to realize that he wasn't ready yet. Technically speaking, an academy student could apply for early graduation if they felt ready and had the approval of the head teacher of the academy and one of the Konoha elders. Why Sasuke hadn't done this Naruto didn't know, but guessed even the prodigy didn't met the requirements for some reason. The blonde had decided to attempt it over the course of his time here. The result was him failing the graduation exam twice now. The upcoming one would be his third, which worried him slightly. Even with my better chakra control I still can't use the Bunshin no Jutsu, Naruto mentally groaned, even with him now just beginning to use the water surface walking practice. All his attempts at using the Bunshin ended in failure. Even trying to use a scroll was a no-go. At the least the scroll gave me a damn explanation, he thought. This whole time it was because of my chakra levels. Initially he thought it was because his control over his chakra was terrible. In essence it was a playing factor, but at least now he knew it wasn't merely just that. However, while knowing part of the problem was good and all, it still wasn't enough to fix it. For him to graduate, Naruto knew he needed to show that he could make a proper Bunshin. Otherwise it was back to school, and no headband. Bullshit really, Naruto muttered lowly. Had it been the old curriculum that Enko mentioned, he most likely would have graduated already, having been made an exception, or been a shoo-in for graduation. He knew quite a few elemental techniques, and one of them was an A rank with an almost guaranteed one-hit kill if used. Naruto hadn't talked to anyone about it, being busy training and trying to solve the problem by himself. Hell, a combination of him trying to max his skills and training with Hate and Yugao had been leaving with little time to enjoy his dungeons as much as he'd like. Though a mere couple of weeks had passed since Naruto began practicing swordsmanship with the two, progress had been decent. Last Friday, the same time he had finally lost his malnourished status effect, Naruto had managed to pull off the exercise Hate wanted and was going to teach him a sword technique sometime this week. But that was still an hour or so away. Sighing once more, Naruto continued to practice his calligraphy to try and get rid of the boredom he was currently feeling. It was essentially all he had been doing for the last little while, and while Naruto listened and did better on tests, old habits died hard, as the saying went. Your calligraphy has gone up by 1. At least now I can use Fuinjutsu, Naruto smirked as he finally reached the final level of this skill. Mastering basic calligraphy had been a slow process for him, but the boy knew it was going to be worth it in the end. The only downside was that Naruto knew he'd have to learn more advanced forms of calligraphy if he was to increase his Fuinjutsu level. It was usually how it worked in games. And that concludes history for today, Iruka finished, to the joy of almost everyone. Now, as you all know, graduation is less than 2 months away. The man was cut off by the sound of happy and excited students. Yes, I know. So to better prepare you all, we are going to be doing more of the physical aspects from now on. That doesn't mean you're to slack on your studies. Here he looked at Shikamaru, Chuji, and Kiba. Usually he'd look at Naruto too, but the boy's marks were greatly improving. Though he had confidence in the boy, Iruka knew that with Naruto it could go either way. That being said, we are going to hold a sparring session every Monday and Friday for the next few weeks to see where everyone stands and what can be improved. If we see you're at an adequate level, you'll get these. Here he showed a series of scrolls. These scrolls demonstrate and have information on how to use the Advanced Academy Taijutsu. Now for those of you who have a clan-based taijutsu, his words were directed at Chuji, Kiba, and Sasuke. This may not seem like much. However, mastering this will help you better understand and learn other taijutsu styles Konoha has to offer. Who knows, some of you may even attempt to create your own taijutsu style. Now head outside and begin stretching for 10 minutes while Mizuki and I set everything up. Yahoo, let's go, Akamaru. Kiba practically blurred out of the classroom with his Niken, followed quickly by the other eager students. I'm starting to think my lectures aren't being appreciated, Mizuki, Iruka speculated. You're just figuring it out now. Mizuki's sweat dropped upon seeing Iruka become despondent. Mizuki thought the man a fool before they left to set up the training area. While the academy teachers prepared for the sparring session, Naruto and the other students took this time to stretch and prepare. After excusing himself briefly, Naruto now sported his crimson cloak of the fire rat for added defense, even if it did clash with his current ensemble. Nowhere did Iruka say that they weren't allowed to wear armor. Eyeing the competition, Naruto decided to see what he was up against. With his observe now at a much higher level, the gamer would be able to see more and what they offered in terms of a challenge. Observe, he muttered and started with the kunoichi of the class. Status window name, Haruno Sakura job, ninja rank, academy student level, 10 next level, 645/7600 reputation level, disliked, 250/3000, specialization, not applicable HP, 300 CP, 300 STR, 13 VIT, 12 DX, 19 INT, 12 WIS, 93 LUK, 20 DF. 10 perks, photographic memory, plus 3 WIS per LV, plus 25% EXP and effectiveness to all skills, plus 25% EXP and effectiveness towards chakra control skills, plus 25% EXP and effectiveness towards medical ninjutsu and genjutsu minor dissociative identity disorder, plus 30% mental resistance, plus 25% EXP and effectiveness towards tactics and strategy. Potential random emotional outbursts gives plus 25% to taijutsu power and effectiveness in combat. And potential mental breakdowns titles, Bookworm, plus 4 WIS per LV, plus 25% EXP and effectiveness towards skills learned through books and scrolls, minus 15% EXP and effectiveness towards taijutsu and bukijutsu status effect, physically lacking, minus 15% towards STR, DX, VID. Minus 15% effectiveness towards taijutsu and bukijutsu. Minus 15% poison and disease resistance description. Haruno Sakura comes from a civilian family. Haruno Sakura is a very smart and talented academy student due to her photographic memory and dedication, but her physical conditioning is considered below average. She also possesses a short temper and can be easily riled up depending on the situation. She, like many of the girls in her class, has a crush on Uchiha Sasuke. Currently has the affections of one Uzumaki Naruto, but has no intention of reciprocating them, and finds him annoying. Status window name, Yamanaka Ino job, ninja rank, academy student level, 9 next level, 5876/6500 reputation, neutral, 450/1000, specialization, not applicable HP, 375 CP, 450 STR, 13 VIT, 15 DX, 25 INT, 18 WIS, 43 LUK, 15 DF, 10 perk, enhanced cognition, plus 1 WIS per LV, plus 15% EXP and effectiveness to detection, plus 15% EXP and effectiveness towards chakra control skills, plus 15% EXP and effectiveness towards skills learned through books and scrolls natural grace, plus 1 DX per LV, plus 15% effectiveness towards movement speed in and out of combat, plus 15% effectiveness towards evasion, special perk, Yamanaka lineage, Eris plus 3 WIS per LV. Plus 25% effectiveness to all Yamanaka clan skills, plus 25% reputation gain with Konoha and Konoha allies, plus 25% EXP and effectiveness bartering with Konoha and allies, 15% EXP increase from Konoha missions titles, apprentice botanist, 15% EXP and effectiveness towards botany skill, plus 15% EXP and effectiveness towards herbalism skill, plus 15% EXP and effectiveness towards poison skills beginner mind walker, plus 1 WIS, plus 10% EXP and effectiveness towards torture and interrogation skill, plus 10% EXP and effectiveness towards information gathering skill, plus 10% towards chakra control skill, plus 10% resistance towards torture and interrogation Konoha's Mrs. Beauty, plus 20% EXP and effectiveness towards seduction skill, plus 20% EXP and effectiveness towards bartering skill, plus 20% EXP and effectiveness towards infiltration skill description. Though not as intelligent as her rival, Sakura, Ino is still one of the top students at the academy. Ino is talented in her clan's teachings, but due to her attitude and infatuation with Sasuke, she isn't as far or as proficient as she should be. Ino is notorious for her gossip and fashion sense. Very little happens in the academy that she doesn't know about. Status window name, Hyuga Hinata job, ninja rank, academy student level, 10 next level, 88/7600 reputation level, honored, 4700/6000, specialization, not applicable HP, 400 CP, 600 STR, 16 VIT, 16 DX, 39 INT, 24 WIS, 57 LEK, 12 DF, 10 perks, Byakugan, plus 1 DX per LV, plus 20% EXP and effectiveness towards medical ninjutsu, detection, sensing, and taijutsu skills, capable of seeing virtually through everything, body pressure points and at far distances main family lineage, plus 2 WIS and plus 1 DX per LV, plus 10% effectiveness to all Hyuga clan skills, plus 10% reputation gain with Konoha and Konoha allies, plus 10% EXP and effectiveness towards bartering skill with Konoha and allies, plus 10% EXP and effectiveness towards taijutsu and chakra control skill, risk of capture from Kumo shinobi titles, apprentice Juken practitioner, plus 2 WIS, plus 1 DX, plus 1 INT, plus 15% EXP and effectiveness towards taijutsu skill, plus 15% EXP and effectiveness towards chakra control skill beginner medical practitioner, plus 1 WIS per level, plus 10% EXP and effectiveness towards medical ninjutsu and herbalism skills status effect, mild diffidence, minus 20% to all stats, minus 20% EXP earned, minus 20% EXP and effectiveness towards skills, self-confidence issues, can potentially become irreversible if progressed too far. Description: Hinata is a very kind but very shy young girl who comes from one of Konoha's 4 noble clans. Despite being trained in the art of the gentle fist at a young age, a renowned and deadly taijutsu, Hinata's skill is lacking for reasons currently unknown. While not one of the best students in the academy, Hinata is still one of the more intelligent students. While most of the girls in her class are infatuated with Sasuke, Hinata is attracted to someone else. Her love for cinnamon rolls is said to rival Uzumaki Naruto's love for ramen. Naruto wasn't surprised that his classmates had managed to level up by a couple of levels. It had been well over a month and a half after all, though he was surprised at what he saw for some of them. For Sakura, it explained why she had the kata for the academy taijutsu down but was pretty tired afterwards. He was surprised Ino wasn't the same, but guessed that coming from a ninja clan meant she knew better. He was very surprised with his reputation level with Hinata and wondered what he could have done for it to be so high. Aside from a few others, Naruto actually realized that Hinata was actually the only female in his class who didn't make fun of him. Why was that? I'll figure it out later. He shrugged and decided to focus on the task at hand. Okay, next, he decided to scan the taijutsu-oriented male students. Status window name, Akimichi Chuji job, ninja rank, academy student level, 10 next level, 278/7600 reputation level, friendly, 400/3000, specialization, not applicable HP, 700 CP, 650 STR, 37 VIT, 26 DX, 19 INT, 26 WIS, 16 LUK, 16 DF, 20 perks, calorie conversion, 25% increase towards VID, STR, INT, DX during combat when used. Capable of converting calories and fat stores into chakra, grants rapid weight loss, can cause severe detrimental status effect if used beyond current capabilities. Special perk, Akimichi clan lineage, air plus 3 STR, plus 30 HP per LV, plus 25% EXP and effectiveness to all Akimichi skills techniques, plus 25% reputation gain with Konoha and Konoha allies, plus 25% EXP and effectiveness bartering with Konoha and allies, plus 15% EXP increase from Konoha missions, plus 15% EXP and effectiveness towards taijutsu and cooking skill titles, culinary connoisseur, plus 20% EXP and effectiveness towards cooking skill, plus 20% EXP and effectiveness towards herbalism, plus 20% EXP and effectiveness towards survivalist skill description. Chuji comes from the famed Akimichi clan. Known for their rotund figure and explosive tempers if called fat, the Akimichi clan's impressive physical strength and ninjutsu are well known. Like most Akimichi, Chuji has a love of food that is said to be unsurpassed, a feat that is followed by his cooking skills. Like his best friend Shikamaru, Chuji is laid back, making him one of the lower-tier students despite his potential. Status window name, Inuzuka Kiba job, ninja rank, academy student level, 10 next level, 2315/7600 reputation level, neutral, 700/1000, specialization, tracker ninja HP, 650 CP, 650 STR, 34 VIT, 26 DX, 77 INT, 26 WIS, 16 LUK, 23 DF, 15 perks, keen senses, plus 15% effectiveness and EXP towards detection skill, ignores henge. Very sensitive to powerful and pungent odors. Special perk, clan lineage, air plus 3 DX per LV, plus 25% EXP and effectiveness to all Inuzuka skills techniques, plus 25% reputation gain with Konoha and Konoha allies, plus 25% EXP and effectiveness bartering with Konoha and allies, 15% EXP increase from Konoha missions, plus 15% EXP and effectiveness towards tracking and taijutsu skill titles, apprentice tracker, plus 3 DX per LV, plus 20% effectiveness and EXP towards tracking skill, plus 20% effectiveness and EXP towards stealth and attack/defense stealth-based techniques, plus 20% towards movement speed during an outside combat feral fighter, plus 2 STR, plus 1 DX per LV, 15% effectiveness and EXP towards taijutsu, plus 15% EXP and effectiveness towards feints, 20% EXP and effectiveness towards tactics and strategy description. Kiba comes from a clan that is renowned for their use of Niken and unique fighting style in combat. Though young and hot-headed, and not the sharpest tool in the shed, Kiba is one of the best in taijutsu, outmatched only by Sasuke. Kiba is one of the lower-ranked students in academics. Status window name, Akamaru job, Niken, ninja dog, rank, none level, 6 next level, 234/3600 reputation, neutral, 700/1000, specialization, not applicable Niken category, hybrid attack and tracking HP, 250 CP, 250 STR, 9 VIT, 10 DX, 26 INT, 10 WIS, 8 LUK, 19 defense, 0 perks, wolf lineage, attack dog plus 1 STR, plus 1 DX per LV, plus 25% effectiveness and EXP towards collaboration techniques. Akita lineage, tracking dog plus 2 DX per LV, plus 15% effectiveness and EXP towards tracking skill, plus 15% effectiveness and EXP towards stealth, plus 10% towards movement speed during and outside combat. Keen senses, plus 15% effectiveness and EXP towards detection skill, ignores henge. Very sensitive to powerful and pungent odors. Ninja dog. Human lifespan. Ability to mold chakra. Potential to speak human language. Description: a 2-old ninja dog and Kiba's partner. Though young and appearing like a normal puppy, Akamaru is quite intelligent and strong for his age and size. Status window: name, Uchiha Sasuke. Job, ninja. Rank, academy student. Level, 13. Next level, 2939/1100. Reputation: level, neutral, 500/1000. Title, Uchiha Clan Heir. Specialization, not applicable. HP, 775 CP, 1715 STR, 46 VIT, 31 DX, 69 INT, 53 WIS, 48 LUK, 21 DF, 15 perk. Not unlocked. Special perk: Uchiha lineage, Air plus 2 INT, 1 WIS and 30 CP per LV, plus 25% effectiveness to all Uchiha clan skills, plus 25% reputation gain with Konoha and Konoha allies, plus 25% EXP and effectiveness bartering with Konoha and allies, 15% EXP increase from Konoha missions, plus 15% EXP and effectiveness towards Katan ninjutsu titles. Apprentice Sekendo Practitioner, Way of the Intercepting Fist, plus 3 DX, plus 1 STR per LV, plus 15% EXP and effectiveness towards Taijutsu, plus 15% EXP and effectiveness towards evasion and counters, plus 15% EXP and effectiveness towards movement speed. Last Loyal Uchiha, plus 25% EXP towards reputation with Konoha, plus 25% EXP gain towards Konoha missions, 15% discount on goods with Konoha, minus 50% mental resistance. Lone Wolf Prodigy, plus 25% EXP and effectiveness towards all skills, plus 25% EXP earned from solo missions, plus 15% EXP towards reputation gain with Konoha, plus 2 to all stats per LV, minus 50% EXP and effectiveness towards teamwork and reputation gain. Status effect. Description: Uchiha Sasuke comes from the famous and powerful Uchiha clan, one of Konoha's founding clans and one of the most powerful clan in the world. After the massacre of his clan in one night, Sasuke became the last of the Uchiha clan. From that day on, Sasuke's personality changed drastically, throwing himself into his training, and began closing himself off from others, becoming a lone wolf. Considered a prodigy by many, Sasuke is rumored to be a shoe-in for the title of Rookie of the Year. Damn, Naruto muttered after it was all done. He knew his observed skill had been low at the time and didn't show everything, but still, for the academy students to have such stats in certain areas. Especially Sasuke and the perks he had. Some people have all the luck, Naruto noted, but shrugged immediately afterwards. Impressive as the stats were compared to the other academy students, by far, they weren't as high as his stats. Hey Dobe, what's with the cloak? Naruto turned around and spotted Kiba and a few others giving him strange looks. Added protection, he merely responded. Iruka-sensei didn't say anything about us not being allowed to wear armor. TCH, you'll need all the help you can get, Naruto, Kiba smirked. Last I heard I wasn't dead last anymore, dog breath. Naruto's comment caused Kiba to lose his smirk and others to start laughing. With his better grades, the position of dead last had gone to Kiba. While the Inuzuka clan heir was one of the top students in Taijutsu, his grades were much poorer in the other subjects. Arf. Hadamara laughed at the boy, earning a low growl and bark from his cousin. Hadamara, though, promptly ignored it. All right everyone, gather around, Iruka called them. Because of the amount of students we have, we're going to be splitting this into 2 blocks. When only 3 students from each block is left, both blocks' contestants will fight each other. The process of selecting who will be facing who is simple. The box you see before you has all your names written down in it, and each one of your names will be chosen at random. We are doing this for a crucial reason. When you all become ninja, you need to expect the unexpected. Some you may face can either be weak or very strong, meaning a fight can be easy or difficult. It may seem unfair, and it is, but that's how the real world works. Consider this a wake-up call. Better for you to realize it now than when it's too late. Now Blanca, who will be looked after Mizuki, will have quest alert. Ready, fight. Main quest: become one of the top 3 fighters. Side quest: become the top fighter. Hidden objective: Main quest completion, 450 EXP, plus 1 STR, 250 reputation with Irika. Advanced Academy Taijutsu Scroll side quest completion, 400 EXP, plus 2 STR, plus 1 stat point, plus 250 reputation with Irika. Hidden objective completion, 300 EXP, plus 2 attribute points. Failure, 100 EXP. Quest is mandatory. Naruto merely grinned at the quest. This was going to be a piece of cake, he thought. With his boost in skills and higher than average academy student stats, this competition was in the bag. Block B will have Yamanaka Ino, Hikari Kasumi, Hokino Ami, Inuzuka Kiba, Uzumaki Naruto, Akimichi Chuji, Hyoken Fuki, Uchiha Sasuke, Oshiro Hibachi. Naruto merely drowned out the rest of the calls when he heard the name Oshiro Hibachi and scowled. Years ago, Naruto had wanted to partake in a contest with some of the academy students. Hibachi, however, had made sure he didn't get the chance. Needless to say, Naruto got back at the boy and Hibachi wanted payback by tricking him. The task seemed simple at the time. All he needed to do was collect something from what he later discovered to be a hot zone. Naruto came out relatively fine thanks to Irika and a jounin, but his dislike for Hibachi had grown because of the stunt. Initially, Hibachi and his friends were meant to be expelled from the academy because the prank did put a student's life at risk, but their parents had managed to convince the head teacher otherwise. They had still gotten severely punished from what he heard, but to Naruto it felt like it was a merely slap on the wrists. Time for payback, asshole. Naruto cracked his knuckles in anticipation of facing the prick. Now that that's settled, some ground rules. 1. This is strictly a friendly taijutsu spar, so that means no ninjutsu, genjutsu, or bukijutsu. If I catch anyone using any of those 3, you're disqualified, and will be serving detention with me pending what I see. 2. My decisions are absolute, and when I say a ruling or a fight is over, it's over. Failure to comply will result in consequences. Here he developed a very stern look that many had rarely seen on Irika's face. 3. Unlike the previous spars we've had before, we're mixing it up a bit. To win a match, you must land 3 successful blows against your opponent. Sweeping them off their feet and throws do not count as a hit. Blocking a strike doesn't count as a hit either. Knocking them out, while not necessary, will result in you winning the match by default. Once a blow has been landed, you will separate and get back into fighting position. Each blow represents a level of injury you may face in the battlefield: minor, severe, and fatal. In the real world, all it takes are a few blows, even a single well-placed blow, to end it all. Yet even someone with a fatal injury can make a comeback and end up as the victor. Here the man spoke from experience. 4. The white line you see over there is a marked boundary area you cannot cross. Crossing it will result in a point for your opponent. Remember, a shinobi must be aware of their surroundings at all times and use it to their advantage. Finally, before every bout you are to perform the seal of confrontation, and at the end you are to perform the seal of reconciliation. With that settled, let's begin. Block B, follow me, the rest of you follow Mizuki-sensei. Both blocks of students split, with 15 students in each block. Hey, Irika-sensei, if the blocks are an odd number, doesn't that mean one of us gets a free pass? Naruto asked. The man smiled. Correct, Naruto. Because each block has 15 students, one of you will not need to fight in the first round. While it's unfair, like I said, this is to help simulate a real-life scenario. A ninja can be coming back from a mission and won a fight, only to then face someone else at 100% strength. How you deal with it will result in success or failure, he told the students as they arrived at their designated area. Now then, the first fight will be Yamanaka Ino vs Hokino Ami, Inuzuka Kiba vs Hyoken Fuki, Hikari Kasumi vs Akimichi Chuji, Uzumaki Naruto vs Oshiro Hibachi. Naruto had to restrain himself from shouting out with glee, "Thank you, Lady Luck." Hibachi for his part merely smirked. While some believed Naruto had gotten better, Hibachi was from a group of students who thought his success was nothing more than a fluke on the blonde's part. Hibachi had been wanted to pay Naruto back too. While his father had managed to prevent him from getting expelled, saying the man had been furious didn't do it justice. "Alright now, Ino and Ami, enter the ring!" Irika shouted. Both kunoichi offered the seal of confrontation, albeit reluctantly because either one were exactly friends to begin with. mostly due to Ino having tricked Ami into thinking she'd been poisoned, and both fought for Sasuke's admiration. "Ready, begin!" Iruka shouted. "Bring it!" Blonde Ami's taunt was cut short as she felt a punch to the face and fell back on her posterior. "Point Ino!" Iruka announced. "You were saying," the Yamanaka smirked. The fight, if one could call it that, was one-sided. Ami, like many kunoichi candidates, focused more time on her looks and book skills than her physical education. With Ino coming from a ninja clan and being one of the higher students too, coupled with her greater flexibility and speed, the civilian-born academy student stood no chance. Ami was promptly beaten by the Yamanaka heiress in less than a minute. "Shosha, Yamanaka Ino," Iruka announced. Both academy students exchanged the seal of reconciliation, though Ami had a scowl on her bruised face. Ino merely smiled at the purple-haired bully. When it was over, Ami was forced to go see the academy nurse while Iruka crossed out her name and started the next match. Much like the previous match with Ino and Ami, Kiba and Chuji's match against their opponents were relatively one-sided. Unlike Kiba, whose speed was just too great for his opponent, Chuji had gotten hit once because of his rotund figure and kind-hearted nature. When both Chuji and Kasumi finished performing the seal of reconciliation, Iruka announced the next bout. "Naruto, Hibachi, you two are up," Iruka announced, and Hibachi's friends cheered him on. "Kick his ass, Hibachi!" Hibachi's best friend, Anegi, shouted. "Language!" The academy teacher reprimanded them. "No sweat. This loser's going down," Hibachi grinned. "Oh, I'm so gonna enjoy beating that ugly mug of yours." The boy could only lament not being able to use Gariki, considering it was a ninjutsu, and a punch with that amount of strength behind it could potentially send Hibachi into a coma or worse. "Make the seal," Iruka told them. "Do we have to?" "Do it or you're disqualified," was the man's stern response, and both males begrudgingly performed it. "Great, now I gotta disinfect my hand," Hibachi muttered loud enough for everyone to hear. Grr, Hadamara looked ready to teach the academy student a lesson. "Enough," Iruka frowned as some of the students laughed. "Ready, fight!" The moment he said fight, Naruto appeared in front of Hibachi before the boy could react. Faster than most could see, Naruto delivered a devastating haymaker on the bandana-wearing boy's face. The last thing Hibachi saw before his vision dimmed and his consciousness left him was the angry look in Naruto's eyes. Soon his unconscious body was sent flying a good 7 or 8 feet away, twirling through the air like a spinning top before finally coming down and tumble limb over limb an additional 4 or 5 feet on the ground. The students were left stunned by the act and left in disbelief. Naruto, the dead last that many still thought him to be, had sent a student flying with a single punch. "Hi, Hibachi?" A concerned and shocked Anegi wondered if his friend was all right. What happened?" another student asked. Checking up on the academy student, Iruka placed his fingers on his neck and sighed a breath of relief. "He's fine, merely unconscious." Iruka's announcement only proceeded to shock them ever further. "Winner by knockout, Uzumaki Naruto." Naruto merely smirked and made his way out of the fighting ring, the eyes of the students following him as he did. One in particular was curious. Sasuke knew that Hibachi was one of the weaker students, but being knocked out by a single punch was no small feat for an academy student. Sasuke knew that it took a considerable amount of physical strength to perform. "Guess the dobe really has improved," the Uchiha muttered, and was curious by his sudden increase in strength. That curiosity, however, was soon replaced by a frown upon seeing the blonde's attire. "Where have I seen that before?" The image of the boy's cloak was vague at the moment, but the boy put the thought aside for now. Most likely it wasn't really that important, and his attention was drawn elsewhere. The following fight of Shino vs. Anegi proved to be one-sided once more. Still shocked by his best friend's easy defeat, Anegi was unable to concentrate properly. Despite taijutsu not being an Aburame's forte, Anegi's lack of focus allowed Shino an easy win. The match that followed, which consisted of 2 civilian students, Hari and Yuzo, was more sad than anything. Many that watched the match knew that their blows were very sloppy and not up to par. Instead of continuing the match, Iruka decided to disqualify both academy students and had them go practice the academy kata. The man did it because he knew either one would be able to defeat whoever they faced. Irika even took a page out of Anko's book by mentally calling their performance as piss poor. Eyeing Sasuke enter the ring, Irika announced. I forfeit. I am declared. What? Irika asked. I can't hit Sasuke-kun. The girl gushed, and Sasuke scowled in disgust. Oh, for fuck's sakes. I've had enough of this bullshit. A voice called out, much to everyone's confusion. Oh no, Naruto and Kiba paled and both of their Niken partners hid behind them. The two boys knew whose voice it belonged to and both knew it was angry. The students and Irika had no time to react when the body of Mitarashi Anko suddenly appeared in front of them, and the woman looked pissed. Anko? Irika, what are you doing here? Got back from a mission that took longer than expected and wanted to see how the Gaki was doing, Irika quickly understood. Missions that took longer than what was contracted usually meant something went wrong, such as the client lying about certain details and was now being targeted, or the mission was merely extended due to other circumstances. Usually it was the former. Nice win, by the way, she congratulated her ward. Wouldn't exactly call it a fight, but the knockout was beautiful, she added before looking at the poor excuse of a kunoichi. You, girlie, have 3 seconds to get to hell out of my sight before I sick Midori on you. Normally Naruto and Kiba would feel sorry for the girl, but considering what just happened, not so much. Sasuke was intrigued, however, at what she was doing. With many female followers and him ignoring them, several of the boys began to assume that Sasuke batted for the other team. Sasuke didn't bother to correct them, thinking they were idiots for spreading rumors that were unbecoming of a future ninja. Truthfully, it was because of girls such as Ain, who in Sasuke's mind were nothing more than a mockery of true kunoichi. This woman before him he knew was a true kunoichi, despite being eccentric and blunt as she is. 1. Who are you? Ain's dumb question cost her. 3. The woman announced, and Midori's body slithered out of her trench coat. The large serpent hissed loudly, frightening the students, and caused Ain to scream her heart out and start running until she was out of the academy yard. She's not worth the chase, Midori glared. Naruto-san, she nodded at the boy before slithering back towards Anko, who looked at the academy instructor. Seriously, what the fuck are you guys teaching these brats? She asked despite already knowing. You know what, don't fucking answer, I don't wanna know. Anko, langua oh stuff if you pussy. Anko interrupted the man and glared at the losing academy students. That had to be the most piss-poor display I've ever seen. Had that been real life, you'd be dead before you could blink. As of now, I'm taking over. To start off, new rule, kiddos. If you lose badly, you answer to me. Otherwise, you're fine. Got it? Anko, you can't just who's the jonin here, Chunin? Anko asked him, and Irika stopped the moment she pulled rank. I thought so. Blondie, Mutt, you two are up. She ordered the 2 students to enter the ring. Much like the previous fights with the civilian-born academy students, Ino and Kiba's fight had been one-sided in favor of Kiba. Ino had natural grace and speed that allowed her dodge a few of his swipes and blows, but it wasn't enough. Many saw that Kiba was the stronger and faster fighter, his greater reflexes allowing him to dodge Ino's strikes easily or bat them aside and land a blow. With the match at 2-0, Kiba was one more hit away from winning the fight. Thinking fast on her feet, Ino decided to use a different, in this case by showing more skin. Oh, this heat, she fanned herself and proceeded to take off her top. Gah! Kiba, along with some of the males, was left speechless and blushed at the act. Using it to her advantage, Ino threw her purple top at Kiba. The boy instinctively caught the piece of clothing only to receive a harsh kick in return that made every male cringe and cover their manhood. Kiba was left gasping for air by the move and fell to the ground clutching his injured body part. Nice. Anko approved of the move. Ino had no advantage in terms of speed and strength, something the Inuzuka were known for. What she did have, however, was her looks, wit, and natural grace. Seeing what just happened, Anko knew the girl could use it to deadly effect. Kiba continued to groan. Mutt, if you don't get up in the next 10 seconds you're disqualified, Anko threatened. Though it had taken some effort, Kiba managed to get to his feet and glared angrily at his opponent. You'll pay for that, the feral boy growled, and Ino was now worried. Her father had told how some Inuzuka could lose control of their more feral side when angry, making their blows much more deadly. Good thing he said it also made them sloppy, Ino thought. Fight! With a growl, Kiba charged towards Ino. The blonde kunoichi in training backpedaled and ducked under his wild swings, each strike being closer and faster than the previous one. Raya! Kiba's next swipe missed but took a few hairs off Ino's head in the process. Ha! The crouched blonde swept the brown-haired Inuzuka's feet from under him, making him fall and even more angry. Point, Blondie! Anko announced. What? Trips don't count as hits, Kiba argued. I know, but look where you landed, Mutt. She pointed downwards and both Kiba and the rest saw that his upper body had crossed the boundary. Damn it! Kiba growled. 2-2. Anko announced, last round, kiddos. Ready, fight! Instead of charging in this time, Kiba opted another tactic and began to circle Ino like a predator would to their prey. Ino, for her part, merely kept up her guard. It was anyone's game now, and the blonde wanted to come up on top. Leaping forward in an attempt to rush her, Kiba suddenly sidestepped to Ino's right. A feint, Ino realized, and made an effort to keep her guard up and position herself accordingly. Kiba then moved in quickly and swiped at Ino once more, only for her to lash out with a kick at his face to drive him back. Unfortunately, the move proved to be her downfall as Kiba grabbed a hold of her foot, twisted around and threw Ino out of the ring, ending the match. Winner, Mutt! Anko's announcement made Kiba whoop joyfully. Damn, Ino cursed but was given help from Anko. Not bad, kiddo, Anko was sincere. While Ino still needed some improvement, her wit and ingenuity in the mock fight showed Anko that the girl had what it took to be a kunoichi. Only time would tell if she'd make it. Next fight. Chuji and Naruto made their way into the ring, though Naruto was annoyed with the constant grumbling that came from the Akimichi's stomach. Oh man, I'm hungry. Fight first, eat later, brat, Anko shook her head. Fight. Like before, Naruto moved in too quickly for Chuji to react and was struck in the gut. Unlike with Hibachi, though, Chuji not only was better prepared and didn't underestimate the blonde, but the boy was much heavier too and was only sent flying a few feet instead. Ugh, the Akimichi groaned as he got back up. Sorry, man, but I ain't going easy on ya, Naruto apologized to his friend. No need, I'm done, Chuji announced, much to Naruto's disappointment. The boy then left the ring and proceeded to eat some chips. Chuji knew that without his clan's techniques his fighting style was greatly hampered. Winning against his previous opponent was one thing, fighting an improved Naruto was different. Coupled with Naruto's strength and speed, the Akimichi wasn't going to bother fighting a battle he knew he'd lose. An Akimichi was known for their strength, not speed. Well, that sucks, Anko muttered lowly but didn't bother reprimanding Chuji, yet anyways. Anko had an inkling the boy knew he wouldn't stand a chance without using his clan's ninjutsu. Akimichi weren't exactly the fastest shinobi around. She didn't like the fact he gave up so easily but brought her attention elsewhere. Seeing as how we're at an uneven number, you get a free pass, bug boy, Anko informed the Aburaim heir, who merely nodded. Uchiha, you and the Sivai are next. Though he managed to fight someone this time, Sasuke and many would hardly call it one considering how one-sided it was once again. Being a prodigy and a shoo-in for the title of Rookie of the Year Toshi, was it? Hi. Go join those two pathetic excuses and work on your form and don't bother coming back until you get it down. Irika frowned but couldn't really say anything. Her words were harsh but true. It was a pattern really where most civilian-born academy students had a disadvantage when learning to be a ninja compared to clan-born students. Not all of them were like it, but over 53% of the time these students lagged behind in one area or another. This was especially true for the kunoichi in training when it came to taijutsu. It's a good thing I organized this then, Irika thought. Better for them to learn about their faults and correct them now before it became too late. Graduation was soon, but they still had an ample amount of time to improve. Alright, top 4 fighters are Bug Boy, Uchiha, Mud and Gaki, Anko announced. We have names, you know, Kiba spoke. Don't care, Mutt, was her rebuttal. Now, seeing as how we need 3 contestants to go against either block, 2 of you will need to duke it out. So write your names and place them in the box. All 4 students did so, and Anko began to shake before handing the box to Irika, first fighter. Uzumaki Naruto, second fighter. Inuzuka Kiba. Shit, the Inuzuka heir cursed. Had he not seen what the former dead last did to Hibachi, he had thought the match to be an easy one. Before Naruto's sudden boost in strength, which still baffled him, Kiba was easily the fastest genin in the academy, followed right behind by Sasuke. One of the main reasons why the Uchiha won every match when they fought was because Sasuke had incredible speed of his own and his fighting style revolved around speed, reflexes, and counters. His mother had told that even without their bloodline limit being active, an Uchiha already had a sense of what their opponent was going to do based on body language alone. It wasn't as effective without the Sharingan, but it was effective still. Naruto had no such fighting style. The boy's fighting style was basically that of a street brawler, all power and no technique or finesse. But where it was sloppy and unrefined before was now greatly improved. The boy's swings were more precise and balanced, and less energy was wasted in them. It wasn't perfect, and it would not help against stronger and more experienced taijutsu-oriented foes, but Kiba knew Naruto's taijutsu was a hell of a lot better than what it used to be. Factoring in with his speed that was now greater than his own, Kiba wasn't feeling that confident or boastful as he normally was. "Mutt, quit spacing!" Anko's shout made him jump in the air and fall on his ass. Getting up and glaring at the woman, who merely glared back, Kiba entered the ring. "Ready, fight!" Irika announced. Like before, Naruto came in quick and struck out at Kiba with a kick. The Inuzuka heir barely had enough time to block the strike, and the boy regretted doing so when he felt his arms go numb. Arg! Kiba groaned in pain from the blow. The kick had enough power in it to force him backwards, the action allowing Naruto to sneak in another blow to his upper chest. Kiba winced upon impact and knew he was going to get a nasty bruise. "Point, Naruto!" Irika announced, and both males went back to their starting positions. "Ready, fight!" Instead of waiting for Naruto to come to him, Kiba rushed at the blonde with the intention to create a feint and make the blonde stumble on himself. Rearing his arm behind him and the other up front with the intention to intimidate his opponent, Kiba smirked when he saw Naruto backpedal. Sidestepping quickly, Kiba then leaped forward, slashed out at the blonde, only for Naruto to fall to the ground on his back and lash out with another kick when Kiba appeared above him. The suddenness of the kick, along with having no way to defend himself, caused the air to come rushing out of his lungs. It was only made worse when gravity took its toll and he landed on the ground with a relatively loud thud, forcing more air out of him. Ouch! Naruto winced and felt sympathetic. The boy knew exactly how he felt right now. Today wasn't Kiba's day when it came to nasty blows, it would seem. Gah! Kiba gasped and breathed in as much air as he possibly could. The boy felt nauseous and, if he was being honest, ready to hurl up the contents of his stomach, and then some. "Mutt, you have 5 seconds to get off the ground and back to your position or you lose." Anko was doing this because unless your opponent was stupid or cruel, or both, in the real world no ninja would allow another the chance to recover if they had the opportunity. It was either kill or be killed. Kiba, either through sheer will or stubbornness, managed to rise to his feet and get to his side. Anko looked impassive as he got ready. The woman knew were he allowed to use his clan's famed Giju Ninpo, Shikyaku no Jutsu, imitation beast ninja art, for legs technique, his speed, strength, and reflexes would be greatly enhanced and the outcome would be much different. She knew Naruto would still have a chance of winning, but the match wouldn't be quite as easy. This was a disadvantage most clans had. Take away their ability to use a signature technique, and they were more or less easy pickings most of the time. "Ready, fight!" Naruto rushed in once more and threw a punch at Kiba's face. Rather than blocking it, though, Kiba grabbed the outstretched limb by the wrist instead and held on tight. Thrusting his other arm out, Kiba grabbed it as well and smirked and prepared to throw him his captive. Naruto, however, merely grinned. Twisting his caught hands enough for him to grab a hold Kiba's own wrists, Naruto jerked forward and delivered a vicious headbutt to his opponent's face. Kiba remained momentarily stunned before he felt himself lose consciousness and fall to the ground. "Winner, Naruto!" A stunned Irika announced. It was a unique way to win, to say the least. Ugh! Naruto groaned and swayed a bit. Thick-headed as many made him out to be, the action still hurt, and gave him a slight headache. Note to self: wear protective headgear when doing that move, he groaned and watched as Irika take Kiba to the school nurse. You know, when they say use your head they don't mean it literally, Gaki, Anko chuckled. Buck up though, there are a few more fights before it's all over, she said, and proceeded to walk over to the other block of students with her ward and the other winners. Winner, Hyuga Hinata, they heard Mizuki announce. As she made her way out of the ring, Mizuki spotted the group and cocked an eyebrow upon seeing Anko. What the? He muttered before seeing Irika flicker in. Looking between the two, Mizuki asked his fellow teacher, Do I want to know? To which the man merely shook his head. I'm in charge of this little tourney at the moment. Mizuki knew Anko well enough by reputation to know she wasn't asking, she was telling him. Who are the winners? Haruno Sakura, Hyuga Hinata, and Shikamaru Nara. There would have been an additional fight, but two couldn't continue and needed to see the nurse, while another one was disqualified for attempting to use ninjutsu, Mizuki informed her. Didn't need to know the life story, Mizuki, Anko said, and gave the winners a look over. So we have a Nara, a Hyuga, and a Civi my Gaki has a crush on. Anko was surprised seeing a Nara, actually, considering they were legendary sloths. The Hyuga was not very surprising considering he clan specialized in taijutsu, though from what Naichan said this kid's got a bit of issues thanks to her father. Anko had never met Hayashi before, but she had met other main family Hyuga members. Her honest opinion on most of them was that they had a 10-foot pole up their ass. The Civi's gotta be either lucky to make it this far or be one of the more competent ones. Either way, it mattered little to her. Alright then. Put your names in the box and let's draw. Quickly jotting their names down, and then mixing up the box they were then put in, Irika began taking out names. Aburaim Shino, he announced as the first contestant before taking out a second, Shikamaru Nara. How troublesome, Shikamaru muttered. I forfeit, Shikamaru announced, and left to stand by his best friend. Wawa Nara's. Smart as hell but just as fucking lazy, Anko groaned. She should have seen this coming. Whatever, she'd let the kid's mother deal with it. And Noichi never let up how Yoshino ruled the Nara household with an iron fist and cast iron pan. Speaking of which, oh Midori. Yes? The talking snake surprised many and frightened a few. Whispering something too low for anyone to hear, Midori nodded and slithered away. Right. Irika sighed and took another name, Uchiha Sasuke, and, oh boy, Uzumaki Naruto. Status window name, Uzumaki Naruto. Job, the gamer rank, Academy student level, 13 next level, 1182/11,000 specialization, not applicable HP, 2750 CP, 4325 STR, 57 VIT, 91 DX, 99, plus 5, equals 104 INT, 131 WIS. 50.5 LUK? Def 55 perk? Additional plus 3 VIT and plus 5 INT per LV, plus 50 HP per LV, plus 25% additional EXP and effectiveness towards Fuinjutsu, minus 15% EXP and effectiveness towards chakra control. Special perk gamer, allows you to live your life like a video game. You still don't know much about it though, but who cares, life is good. Additional plus 3 VIT and plus 5 INT per LV, plus 75 CP per LV, plus 25% additional EXP and effectiveness towards power-type fighting style, minus 25% EXP and effectiveness towards chakra control, 40% EXP towards reputation. Titles: Beginner Konoha Kenjutsu Swordsman, plus 10% EXP and effectiveness towards Kenjutsu, Stealth, Feints and Movement Speed, plus 2 DX, plus 1 STR per LV. Veteran Zombie Slayer, 60% increase attack and defense against undead, plus 20 towards stats when facing undead, plus 25% additional drops and EXP from Undead Prank King, minus 10% EXP towards reputation gain, plus 15% EXP towards strategy and tactics, plus 15% towards stealth, additional plus 3 DX per LV. Description: Uzumaki Naruto's background is shrouded in mystery. Currently an academy student with inspirations to become Hokage, Naruto has a long and difficult journey ahead of him before he can attain his dream. At the moment, Naruto is considered by many as a shoe-in for the title of Dead Last. Money, 527,060 Rio, $52,706. Attribute points, 10 status window name, Hadamara job, Niken, Ninja Dog, level, 11 next level, 6790/8700 reputation, friendly, 110/3000, title, Naruto's partner specialization, not applicable Niken category. Hybrid guard and tracking HP. 650/650 CP, 250/250 STR, 22 VIT, 26 DX, 33 INT, 10 WIS, 7 LUK, 17 DF, 15 perks, keen senses, plus 15% effectiveness and EXP towards detection skill, ignores henge, very sensitive to powerful and pungent odors. Ninja Dog, human lifespan. Ability to mold chakra, potential to speak human language. Kumena lineage, guard dog plus 1 VID, plus 1 STR per LV. Plus 15% effectiveness and EXP towards biting techniques, minus 10% effectiveness and EXP towards training and reputation. Akita lineage, tracking dog plus 2 DX per LV, plus 15% effectiveness and EXP towards tracking skill, plus 15% effectiveness and EXP towards stealth, plus 10% towards movement speed during and outside combat. Special perks, Gamer's Combat Pet. A special perk that allows any of your combat pets the ability Gamer's Body, though they only earn a small amount of attribute points per level that you can allocate. However, this can be lost if you decide you don't want a certain pet or if your pet abandons you. Titles: Journeyman Zombie Slayer, 50% increase attack and defense against undead, plus 15 stats when facing undead, plus 20% additional drops and EXP from undead attribute points, 14.